met this girl, and she was like, oh, I would love to go to a Cubs game. Go pick her up. She comes outside. She is dressed from head to toe in Cub. By the third inning, she is drunk. Yo, what the did I get myself into? They were throwing beers at us. I picked her up and had to put my hand around her mouth to carry her to the car type shit. It was so bad.
To you, what's going on?
What's going on? What's going on? Are we officially on the game right now?
We are officially on the game.
Okay. So first things first. So this, this bourbon, I want you to taste it. I'm not endorsed by this bourbon. I just figured, first of all, I'm coming to this podcast where people drink. I don't drink. So I wanted to find, you said that you like bourbon, so I wanted to find you a good bourbon. Apparently this bourbon's won a lot of awards. It is a Kentucky distillery, and the owners of it are 3 Black gentlemen out of Kentucky.
Awesome.
So it's like official bourbon. So I had it chilled for you, so it's got a slight chill to it. So give that a try. Burrow Brothers, am I pronouncing that right? Burrow Brothers?
Burrow Brothers, which makes me feel like New York, like the boroughs.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but I think it's that they the boroughs of the barrels possibly. So feel free to crack that open and tell me what you think. That's yours to keep, obviously. So hopefully you like it, and if not, just continue to have it around for your friends and your other guests that you have coming in.
I mean, that's what happens with half the tequila around here. That's why there's 100 tequila bottles, because every girl's like, I drink tequila, and they all drink different brands.
Basically, right. I've learned in our industry, every girl drinks tequila. That's definitely one of the go-tos.
Yeah.
And vodka, flavor vodkas.
I don't feel like the flavor vodkas are actually as popular as they used to be.
The certain circle of women. So the younger ones, yes, I think.
I feel like, at least in my experience, the younger ones a lot of times are drinking like the White Claws and like.
Oh yeah, that's right. The newest generation. So many generations that have popped in and out. Yeah, White Claw definitely a go-to. Again, not to be endorsed White Claw, but just going over.
It does the job.
It does. It does do the job. Like Casamigos and White Claw. So.
Well, I'm honored to have you, because like you're one of the few people who like is doing the shows. Like, oh, you've been in a lot longer than I have.
Oh, stop it.
Sorry, I wasn't supposed to call out your age.
No, I'm a vampire, so it's fine. People say, you look the exact same way. I'm like, yeah, I basically I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I avoid as much bullshit as possible. So,
why are you in this industry?
Well, again, I'm very fortunate that, first things first, how is that bourbon?
It's good.
It's good. Solid. Smooth? Yeah. Good. There you go. So yeah, if you shout out to these brothers in the bourbon. So if you,
the proof on this sucker.
Yeah. I want to say
82 proof.
82. So say 82, 85 maybe? 82? Yeah. 82, which is good from what I hear.
Yeah.
You got to pull it out, taste it, breathe a little bit, add a little bit of water too if you need to.
I generally drink on the rocks, so I have my giant fucking cube.
Perfect. There we go. See, the only thing I don't drink, but I'm a connoisseur of alcohol and drinking, because all of my fucking friends drink. So I do know the procedure of kind of how to make the palate good. So
why don't you drink?
Just never my bag. I've never drank in my entire life. I know I'm a unicorn. I'm a black man, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, never been arrested. Credit score is high. It just never appealed to me.
Fair enough.
Where everybody else was, drinking and smoking and shooting pool and playing dice, I was fucking girls. So
I mean, you can't say no to playing pool, man.
Hey,
come on.
I am a good pool player, though. I would tell. It's 2 things that by proxy I'm really good at, which is bowling and pool. My grandparents put me in a bowling program when I was a kid, when I was way too fucking young. So I bowled Saturday mornings for 2 years straight when I was like 5 and 6. So that muscle memory is still there. It was crazy. I got horrible muscle memory. But bowling I'm really good at. And because a lot of my teenage friends were kind of, like a junior mafia, you had to be able to fuck, you had to be able to fight, you had to be able to at least know one good vice. So pool, again, my grandparents had a pool table. So I played pool since I was like 5. So I was always good at putting, I'm a pretty good pool shark. I shouldn't say it on camera because I still can hustle some people in pool if I really tried to.
Well, if they find this episode and they're like, yo, you're a shark, I'll take the view.
Yeah. I've definitely been like, oh man, we should play a game, and then been like, $400 or $500 in the pocket. Like, you fucked up, Ken. You fucked up.
Well, because we're around the same age, so like you were out in the out doing shit in like the late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you were in Chicago at that point, right?
No, yeah. I mean, let me start off because I've watched this podcast and I've said this before in my socials. I stopped doing podcasts because they're so fucking bad. There's so many bad podcasts where people who just don't have life experience, don't have any opinions, and just talk to be fucking talking. So I'm gonna start this off by introducing myself to those who don't fucking know who I am, because maybe you don't know. So, my name is Jason Toller. I'm an actor, writer, producer, WGA writer. But in the industry, as this mostly podcast leans towards, I've been known as the world famous T-Real, TWERWL. I've been a contract performer for at least 4 different companies. I've been a director, and I'm the first African-American man to own a licensed and bonded talent agency in the industry. I've been in business since, I hate to admit it, 2003. So I'm going on almost 20-something years in this industry, which has been a great hustle for me. I have other businesses, but the business of being in this business has been very good to me. So I always say when it gets to the point where it's no longer fun and I'm no longer making any money, that's when I will leave. So fortunately, knock on wood, it hasn't gotten to that point yet.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
there we go.
I mean, I'd hate to get to the point where it's like, it's not fun and you're still making money. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, well, it has had those balances sometimes. Sometimes it's balance, like I'm making a lot of money here, but I'm not having a lot of good days. And then I've had times when it's like, this is a lot of fun, but this isn't a lot of money today.
I know that pain sometimes
like,
too.
I'm like, oh, she is so hot and this is great, but I'm lowering my rate for this shit. Whatever, fuck it. You've all been there, well, if you're lucky enough. So
for sure. But I actually want to roll back to the pool and like, because you were in Chicago at that point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like, where were you playing pool in Chicago? Because I'm from Chicago.
I know. I do know you're Chicago. So what part of Chicago are you from?
So one parent was in Uptown, one parent was in Evanston.
Got it.
So North Sider.
Facts. So I was in Bryn Mawr and Sheridan.
Okay.
So to rewind this story. So I went to Columbia, Chicago as my college, where I got my degree in business and film. And yeah, like a lot of broke college students, I had hustles, and one of my hustles was pool. So I don't even think these places are open anymore. I started out, ironically, at playing pool in the Green Mile, the bar.
Oh, the Green Mill?
Yeah, the Green Mill.
Over on fucking Lawrence.
Yeah. Which is if you're in Chicago or from Chicago or ever go to Chicago, it's a great blues, like jazz club in the North Side. And they had at the time 2 pool tables in the back area, I guess. So I listened to some jazz and play pool and then once you kind of get into that circle, you kind of learn who the sharp guys are, and you start going to like the South Side and the places, and then it becomes fun and dangerous and things of that nature. So yeah, I definitely paid some rent and some book tuitions for college off some pool money from time to time.
Hell yeah. Now, part of me is just kind of like looking back on those days, kind of miss like being out in the streets and actually like doing shit. Like,
oh yeah, Chicago was great. My situation was different because I was only in Chicago when I was in college, and my influence was kind of like I was like Zach Morris in college. Like I ran shit. Like I learned the first year of school, I read all the books on how to basically work the student council and things of that nature. And then by my second year, it was like, I noticed like I had my own office, I had my own base, I started my own company. I used to direct music videos in college. So my whole hustle was if you worked in the film department, you got access to the equipment. So you could get the equipment for 3 days if you worked in the apartment in the film department. So you can get it like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I would get the equipment on Thursday and we would just shoot music videos for like local drug dealers and like, rappers and pimps and shit back then. So, and I wasn't where I lived at was the north side right off the red line. So you would go past kind of Cabrini Green and other places where a lot of these guys were, trying to, bubble their rap careers in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I wasn't afraid of shit because I grew up in Cleveland, which was just as bad as Chicago. So that's the whole nother story. I'll tell you about that as we progress in this conversation. But at the time, it was very night and day. I lived in the dorms for my first year, kind of learned the rules. By second year, I had my own place. And then by third, fourth year, me and my homeboys had got a like this condo overlooking the lake in the north side. Because I was making decent money from music videos I was doing. And from there, it got me into, and that's how I got into the business. Because one of the girls the long short story was I was shooting videos. I was doing treatments and doing videos for a lot of low budget rappers. Not low budget rappers, but let me rewind this conversation. Back in my day, the record labels would give the rappers money as a budget to do their videos. So what would happen is a lot of rappers would get the budget and then just find guys and pay them cash to do the videos. Like, yo, it's budgets for math purposes, like $100,000. Then they find a guy like me and be like, look, do this video for 30,000 so I can keep the rest of my budget for my video. So I was doing, again, rappers you probably never heard, the drum majors and, DJ Scratch and Sniff and these guys that fucking were kind of bubbling up in Chicago, Soldiers at War, guys that I kind of knew of that ran in different circles. I was doing their videos, M-Dub Records, and God bless you guys wherever you guys are, because you guys got me through life. But did their videos and we're basically getting cashed out for those. And I had gotten so big at the time, I was doing my meetings in my dorm, in the dorm office areas. And, Ludacris and Nas and these other rappers would come there, and like the straw that broke the camel's back was 50 Cent. 50 Cent had came there with his first manager and was talking to like guys about his manager was trying to, I guess they had bought the rights to one of Donald Goines' books. And he wanted to do a soundtrack for the Donald Goines book, but he wanted to do the soundtrack to produce the movie. So he was talking to me about directing the movie. But of course, this guy, his 50 Cent's manager at this time was a well-known gangster. If you guys can do your own research on other podcasts and shit. But he showed up with a bunch of gangster-looking guys to my dorm area with 50. And I was kind of like, who you here to see? Like, we're here to see you. I'm like, oh shit. So I got a nice letter from the dean of students saying I could not use their area anymore for my meetings with these rappers. And then a friend of a friend had heard that I needed office space, and his father had an office in downtown Chicago in the Miracle Mile building. And he was like, my father's got a small office space. You can sublease that. And unbeknownst to me, I'm obviously a young black dude, probably like 22. I think I was like, I was 22 at the time. And everybody that worked for me at that time that was doing music videos, their name was Jason too. So there was Jason T, Jason P, Jason. So I went by TJ. So TJ was kind of my go-to name. And we got into this office space and we're there for like 4 or 5 months and we're doing these videos. Rappers would come in, we had these meetings, we forgot the budget, they pay us cash, we do the videos, steal the equipment from the school, go do the video, edit it, drop it off. It was like a great, like if you ever watched BET's Uncut, I did like 9 BET Uncut videos. And I would see all of these beautiful girls coming in the office space and like coming to the elevator. And I finally caught one of the elevators, like, yo, what the, like, are you escorts, you hookers? Like, what's going on here? I see all these old white guys in this building and I see like all these hot chicks walking in. This girl's like, I'm a playmate. It's like, oh shit.
When did they remove the fucking Playboy sign from because the Playboy sign used to be on the top of the building?
Yeah. I think they may have removed it the year I moved in there. Cause I think this was like 2000. This is 2000. It's 2000.
Because it used to be you rolled south on Lakeshore Drive, you'd see
the actual Playboy names. Yep. Yeah. So, they might have removed it maybe a month or two before I moved in, because I remember seeing it when I would drive Lakeshore Drive or come down, the Miracle Mile area, but it didn't connect. It didn't register with me like, oh, this is the Playboy building. So, at the time, me and the girl that I had met, who I ended up dating. I put her and a bunch of other girls in a bunch of rap videos. So, and this was back like in the early 2000s where you couldn't get like attractive models in video. You could get roundaway girls and like strippers, like your homeboy's friend that might have been a dancer at some fucking club, but you weren't getting hot chicks in fucking rap videos back then. So, I started putting those girls in videos. And when I graduated college and went to New York, I fucking hated New York. It was too cold, it was too grimy. I worked on Law and Order for a year in New York. And I had already moved, I had worked on Barbershop and Say Your Last Dance and all the other movies when I was in Chicago. So my thought process was like, okay, go to New York, start doing music videos, work on commercials and TV stuff out there, and then blow my career up, be the next big, next big thing type shit. But again, the problem was I moved to New York when it was like the worst fucking like weather ever. Like it was the coldest blizzard on like record for like 28 years or some crazy shit like that. So yeah, if you ever been to New York, getting up and taking the train every day to like, Lower Manhattan to shoot some fucking TV show, like, nah, it's like, fuck this. But once I left New York, came to LA, and I kind of went through my Rolodex back then. We all had cell phones and shit, like back when cell phones really first came out. And the girl who I met at Playboy, who was getting me a lot of her homegirls into the videos, she at this time had moved into the Playboy mansion. So she had became one of Hef's girlfriends. And I mean, the long story short, she was kind of one of the bad girls of Playboy. If you, I'm divulging a lot of secrets here, folks. So at the time, Hugh Hefner had girlfriends at the mansion. Once a girl got to a certain age, she kind of aged out of being in the house. Or if a girl was kind of problematic, she was, fucking certain celebrities or, doing things that the girl shouldn't be doing and shit. So this girl had made enough money off of, because when you're at the mansion, you kind of get a, what do you call it?
Like an allowance, right?
Yeah, like an allowance. Like she got an allowance, plus she was doing her little kind of side hustle thing. So she had stacked some good money. She had bought a house in Calabasas. Back when you could still buy a fucking house in Calabasas, it wasn't fucking crazy. So
must be nice.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit.
I will just buy a house.
One regret that I make about this is I didn't buy a house when I could have. 2 times I could buy a house. I was like, I don't know if I want to buy a house in fucking LA. Should have bought a fucking house in LA.
Yeah.
Buy property, kids. That's what I learned. One of my worst regrets, not buying property in LA.
Buy the property in the right place.
In the right place, true, right place, definitely.
Like, I had a condo in the suburbs of Chicago. I ended up just fucking getting out from under it. It kept me in Chicago years long.
God damn.
Kept me in Chicago years longer than I wanted to be there.
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, so I'm going off on a tangent. But to go back to
tangents happen.
Back to Chicago was great. Had great experience. Learned a lot. Graduated college. Started my first business. Linked up with a bunch of playmates. My first year there was kind of figuring out the game. Rewinding the Chicago story. Being raised in Cleveland, I knew street shit because I was in a weird situation where I was raised in the suburbs, but I was raised in like a predominantly black neighborhood that was being obliterated by the crack cocaine epidemic. So a lot of street dudes, that still had street code. I picked up on a lot of kind of what they were going on, and a lot of street pimps. There was the Euclid Avenue area had an abundance of motels and like late night spots and stuff. So I would always be in that area because that's just how you were as a kid. And there was like such a weird situation. It's like a strip mall that had like a Blockbuster Video and a fucking, a Rallies and a Checkers and like a Foot Locker. But then like right down the street was like this 24-hour donut place that also served like shrimp sandwiches and like shit. So it was just like one of those hubs that a lot of street guys would congregate in. But if you were a kid, you would just get your food there. Like you go get some videos and go get some food and go home. So you would interact with these people in the streets, and they taught me a lot of the general game shit. I remember, I saw a guy do a bump in the sense of like how to rob somebody. Like you walk into them and bump them and could pick their pocket. And I saw it happen, and he saw me see it happen, and he was worried that I was going to tell the guy because I knew the guy he stole the wallet from. So he gave the wallet. He dropped the wallet. It was like, hey, man. He bumped him. He was like, hey, you dropped your wallet. And the guy's like, oh. And he saw me and was like, I can teach you how to do that. I was like, at first I was like, that's kind of fun. I was like, but yeah, teach me how to do that.
Right. Like,
yeah.
Even if you don't use it, it's a good skill to have.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot of street skills that I picked up on, just kind of being in the game, just being around that shit. And, it was funny. It's another Cleveland story. It was the first time I got donuts, like a 6, like, okay, there's this place called Mr. Donuts, and they were a 24-hour spot that a lot of the hustlers and pimps will hang out with late at night. But in the daytime, it's a donut shop. So you get your donuts, you go out, and they had cherry cake donuts. And at the time, to a kid, $1.25 for donuts, a lot of fucking money.
Right.
So and what I would do is me and my homeboy, we would get out of school, go home, we would put our little lunch money together. We would run to the donut store, grab a donut, go to Blockbuster, get a video, and then come home, right? And I would always buy 2 donuts. And my best friend, he would always eat one of my donuts. So I got, angry one day. I was like, okay, I'm going to buy a half a dozen donuts, okay? Like I've saved enough money for my allowance to buy us half a dozen donuts. So we go to Blockbuster, we get our videos, we walk to the donut shop, and they had these cherry cake donuts and these blueberry cake donuts, which were like they were cake donuts, they were delicious. And I'm like, look, I'm gonna get me half a donuts, got half a dozen donuts, and they're boxing them up. And the lady says, well, you got a donut, I'll give you free hot dogs. She's buying hot dogs and shit. And she's boxing donuts up. This pimp walks in. And I hear him. So me and my friend are standing when they're boxing donuts up. And the pimp's like, y'all ain't got no more cherry cake? What the fuck? Like, and then my homeboy says, yeah, we just bought the last ones. I'm like, God damn it. Why the fuck would you tell him that? Is what I'm thinking in my head.
Right.
But, it's one of those learning situations where it's like, all right, I know he could rob me easily. Like this old pimp dude, he's either going to try to rob us or punk us because we bought the last of the donuts. And he walked over to me. He's like, hey, man, you bought the last of the donuts? I was like, yeah. And he looked at me like, I'm going to buy one from you. He pulled up this amount of money. And I knew he wasn't going to buy them from us. He was just trying to show that he could, he could if he wanted to. So I'm like, all right, bro. No, you keep your money. But here, just take one. So the fact that I had opened up the box to him from the take one, he kind of looked at me different. Like, oh, I don't want to punk this kid, but he's showing me like some respect. So, he takes his donut, and then I would see him all the time in the hood, and he would just kind of give me pimp game. Like, little things in the neighborhood are like, he had got into it one day with these pimps because he had told them that the girls couldn't work when the kids were coming out of school. So anytime after like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, when kids come home from school, you would see prostitutes walking down Euclid Avenue. But anytime before that, they had to go. And we always see these guys at night when we were coming home from school or whatever. So long story short, I see this guy, and I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he's still alive or not. But he's a very known older pimp guy in Cleveland. And because I gave him that donut, he called me Smooth. So he's like, hey, yo, Smooth, let me holler at you. I was like, oh, what's up? And he was like, you ever see this girl, during you getting out of school? And I'm like, no, I don't see her. And he's like, what about that girl? And I was like, yeah, I've seen her one time. He's like, for real? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right, thank you. I'm going to holler at you. And as I'm talking to him, there's another pimp dude outside. He walks outside, and we can't hear him through the glass, but we see him. And what he was doing was he was yelling at the other pimp, telling him, don't bring your bitches out during the daytime when these fucking kids are walking out. I don't mind them working out during the nighttime, not the daytime shit. But the way he was doing it was fine. I'm thinking about this 2 days ago. He was yelling to do like he was Michael Jackson. Like all his movements were all these pop lock shit. So all we see is this dude, he's got black shirt on, red vest, red pants, all this gold on. He's like spinning and talking and shit. And we can't hear him. And he gets in the pimp dude's face. Another pimp dude, like backing up because he thinks he's gonna hit him with some shit. And then the other pimp walks off. And then the red cape walks in. And all you hear is, don't have them bitches out during the daytime. Them hoes better be like vampires. Nighttime, motherfucker. And to this day, when I hear like nighttime, motherfucker, I think about him yelling about the pimp dude with the girl. But the point I'm trying to make is, I was raised by a lot of street dudes in a suburb that was in a predominantly black area. So I got a good mix of like street rules and regulations and knowing how to fight, knowing how to navigate that world, but also knowing how to navigate the general business side of shit. So I'm very fortunate in that sense.
I mean, the good skill sets to have.
Great skill sets to have, definitely.
Yeah, because like there's times where that street shit will definitely be like, just serve you well.
Oh yeah, definitely this line of work.
Well, and just life in general. Because like I know my own personal life, there's just times where it's like, I should not be here right now.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely can pull a room and be like, all right, I need to get out of here and get my people out of here and get out of here safely before I got to call lawyers.
Yeah.
That's
for something stupid happens.
Because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So
exactly. And I feel like people that are just book smart just miss out on that shit.
Mm-hmm. I've seen people just walk into situations. It's like, you don't see these motherfuckers arguing over here? You don't catch the vibe? You don't? I've seen so many guys in rooms. When I walk into, like, let's just say it's like a bar area with a lot of attractive women, the first thing I do is I look at everybody in the room. Who's she with? Who's her man? How are they connected? What's the body language like? I've seen so many dudes just walk up on a chick and say some wild shit and not realize that that's her brother or her father or her man there, or not see she got a gun already out in her hip. Like, I'm like, you were 2 seconds away from getting 3 times of fucked up.
The lack of common sense.
Yeah, well, that too. The common sense isn't common.
No, not.
As we know. So
when was it common? I don't fucking know.
I would say something between 1920 and probably died around 72.
When you could still just take a man outside and shoot him if
yeah,
you
yeah, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do X, Y, Z.
Well, and that's the crazy part about modern society to me is it's like everyone's like, oh, the world's gone to shit. The world's like, did none of you live in the 90s? Like,
no, they didn't. They didn't. Well, again, we're in a different situation because I mean, we're the last generation where you had to still interact and talk to people one-on-one. Like, I remember having to go to a mall with my homeboys and talking to women. Hey, what's up? Like, it's Foot Locker, or going to the food court, or going to, hey, what's up, girl? How you doing? Da-da-da. And that pound of rejection, time and time again. You might talk to 40 girls in a weekend. Out of that 40, you might get 5 phone numbers. Out of 5 phone numbers, 3 of them might be real.
Right.
And then it was like, but you had to have that repetition of, it was a numbers game.
Well, and like, especially when you're younger, one thing that the current generation will never get to experience that we had to do is calling a girl's house and having her father answer the phone.
Oh, absolutely. Had to switch that voice up real quick.
Right.
Like, hello, hey, hi, is Tiffany there?
Yep.
Hey, you know what? I have every love letter I've ever gotten. And
holy shit.
Yeah, I have a book that we're working on right now. Just out of happenstance, I was a pretty popular guy, and I didn't play sports. I was a charmer. I was very charming, and girls liked me. So, which is find something you're good at, fellas. Find something you're good at and try to make a career out of it. But yeah, I have, like, the very first letter I ever got from a girl, like, check me, you like me, check no, till like 2016, I think. I would just put them I had this box. I just put them in a box. So we're just going through those, and how did you get from this level to this level? But yeah, the fact of having to talk to somebody on the phone, shit, man.
And not the person you're trying to talk to.
Oh, absolutely. Getting through the father and a mother or so-and-so. And I used to tell girls, like, look, it's funny. Tell girls, like, yo, tell your parents everything about me except I'm black, if they were white. If they were black, I'd be like, tell your parents everything about me except I don't go to church. Tell them that I'm a student council president. My father went to Harvard. I'm trying to tell them all these things about me. Just don't tell them I don't go to church. Usually when it comes to black girls, what church you go to? It's like, fuck. Like, that was a downside. Like, yo, he's so nice and polite and kind. Did he go to Mount Sinai Baptist? Like, no, he don't. You can't talk to him. So that was a shutdown. And then for the white girls, it was like, is he black? Like, yeah. Like, I looked, they would meet me like, oh, you're Jason. Yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you. It's like, oh. By that time, they already heard all these wonderful things about me, so I was already inside. It was too late. Too late. Gotcha, bitch.
So yeah, I wish that skill set would come back for people, because I think it would be better for society.
We would be, but I mean, it's unfortunate because it's got to be both sides that are okay with that. I mean, I think, and again, to the point of all these podcasts, there's so many women that don't know how to talk to men in a way that doesn't make men feel like shit. And so many men who don't know how to talk to women in such a way to get them to understand I'm not a predator. I'm interested in you either your physical is the first line of defense.
Oh yeah.
But besides that, we might have something in common. We might have something of commonality in some capacity. let me get to that point to see if there's like the actual idea of trying to date you. That's what dating when I was coming. You would date people. Like you would go to a movie or bowling and have conversations and be like, nah, I can't fuck with this person. She got a bad attitude. She hate life. She depressed all the time. I can't fuck with you.
She's rude to fucking servers.
Yo, facts. Yo, like super red flag.
Yep.
Super red flag. Like yeah. I mean, I've been on some really bad dates. Like I had a girl I met first, one of my worst fucking dates. I first came to LA. Now from Chicago, right? And I met this girl, and she's like, "Oh, you're from Chicago?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Chicago." You know, we met someplace. You know, like, yeah, we having that little common bond and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, you know, I would love to go to a Cubs game." I was like, because the Cubs were doing the Dodgers, right? I had to hook up at the Dodgers from doing some music video shit. So like, yeah, I get some tickets. I got some tickets. So I tell this girl, like, look, I got like the best seats for this Cubs Dodgers game. I'll pick you up at like 4:30. We'll go to the game. We'll hang out. We'll get some dinner. It'd be great. It's like cool. So that's the date. Me, her, Dodgers, Cubs, great. I put on a nice shirt, some jeans, some shoes, clean my car out, go pick her up, honk the horn. She comes outside. She is dressed from head to toe in Cub shit. Like her face is painted. I swear to God, her face is painted. She's got her hair in pigtails. She's got red and blue fucking ribbons in her hair for the Cubs. She's got this Cubs jersey that's like cut into like a little like bra type thing. These little Daisy Duke shorts on. She's got Cubs socks on. She's got like red and blue Nikes. She is Cubs down. She's got the Cubs, like whoever the guy was that was proper. His numbers like painted on her. I'm like, oh, you're like a really big Cubs fan. Okay, cool, done. We get to the game. By the third inning, she is drunk. She is rip-roaring drunk and has the mouth of a sailor. Fuck you, Dodgers. Fuck the Dodgers. You come, Dodger motherfuckers. You guys aren't going to win. My Cubby's going to kick your ass. Da, da, da. I'm like, yo, what the fuck did I get myself into? And by the fifth inning, security's like, yo, get this bitch out of here. Like, you got to leave now. Because if you don't, they fucking her up and fucking you up in the process.
100%.
100%.
This ain't Wrigley Field.
No, this is not Wrigley Field. I was like, hands down, one of the worst dates I've ever fucking been on.
100%. The minute you saw that uniform, you should have been like, oh, this is what's going to happen.
It's one of the things which gradually I was like, well, maybe she's just a big fan. Like, okay, maybe it's like a cosplay thing.
You lived in Chicago.
True. But again, did not.
You have been to Wrigleyville.
That is true.
You should have known.
I should have known. I had high hopes. So God bless you wherever you are, sweetheart. But yeah, that was.
She probably got stabbed by a Dodgers fan somewhere.
Oh yeah. We almost got killed getting out of there. I mean, they were throwing beers at us. They shut that bitch up before I cut. Da, da, da. I'm gonna fuck. I'm like, yo, I'm grabbing her. I picked her up and had to put my hand around her mouth to carry her to the car type shit. It was so bad. So bad. I never forget that shit.
Well, and you're sober for all of this.
Oh, of course. Fuck. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, that was fucking insane. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that date made me realize I don't want to fuck with you. Like you would have those experiences of, okay, step one, talking to this person and getting to the idea of, okay, I think I wanted to be out in public with you. Step two, okay, now we're out in public. How are you around the people? How do you act? How do you handle your fucking liquor?
Right.
Right. And then, okay, now this person is somebody who I want to see myself being more and more enthused with.
Yeah, there's definitely some women I've like hung out with. I love them to death when I'm sober. When they're sober, like absolutely love. Yeah. But it's like you can't handle your liquor, and it's not like one off. We had an old saying with my friends in Chicago, which was everyone has a turn to be the asshole. Yeah, you get drunk and you do something stupid once in a while. That's forgivable.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say, depending on how bad it is. But yeah, usually one time, two times, you get a little,
Right, but if it's every time we drink,
right, then I can't fuck with you.
You need help, girl.
Yeah.
Like I really like you, but
I really like you.
But
and I've put some girls in rehab. It's not fun. So yeah, but I mean, that's the life we live.
Dudes definitely got to learn real early on, like you can't like someone just because you're attracted to them and they like you.
Facts. Well, I mean, again, it's for you guys out there. I'm giving some free game. Yes, it's harder now. I'll give it to you because there's no face to face, and you've got to find the way. Let me rewind. It's very few face to face. Most of the game nowadays is you saw a girl on some social media in some capacity. You slid in her DMs. What do I say to slide into her DM to get her to respond where I can get another respond to get to a point where I can either come directly to her house and fuck her or possibly go out, right? So you have to have a good presentation in your social before you can even worry about trying to have a good line. So,
well, and also one of the big differences between today and then is everyone has so many fucking options.
True.
Because of social media, because of dating apps, everyone's just like, oh, I could do better.
Yeah. And you fucking can't. You can't. Like, even the girls who are fucking on like the rappers and shit, you realize very quickly that you're a commodity. Like, they fuck you. Trust me, let me say this to every rapper who's watching this. I probably know who you're fucking. You've probably fucked them, paid them. They've brought me some money back because I'm an agent. They tell me, hey, T.I., and I'm not going to put you guys on blast, but every fucking major rapper, I know who you've been fucking in some capacity, and I probably have helped them. And to the rappers I am cool with, thank you for the shout outs. I've gotten some subliminals and Drake videos and shit like that, so that's very nice. But what I'm trying to make is, it's the girls and guys, stop trying to find the bigger and better deal and find what works best for you. What do you like to do? What are you into? She might not have the biggest tits and biggest ass in the world, but she might like anime. Right? She might be funny. She might be somebody that's actually, the woman who I would have a child with is not the woman that I would go on a vacation with, so to speak, I think. The woman who I would want to help my mother pick out, fucking new blinds is probably not the woman that I would, hang around at the club with either. So it could be, but reason and seasons.
But aren't you trying to find someone who can fill all those roles?
I'm realistic. I've dated everybody. I don't discriminate race, black, white, age, I've found women who are, with all due respect, you've been great, 75%, 65% where I need you to be. Nobody's ever going to be 100%. So it's kind of figuring out, okay, what works best for you across the board. And again, I've dated, again, most of you guys know my more popular, Tori Black or fucking Jen Ivory, girls in the industry outside. I'll use those as examples compared to, people who, the celebrities that I've dated. But I've had Victoria's Secret models lock me in hotel rooms. I've had to give restraining orders on girls. You would think that this person who seems so great at this part of her life is not so great at this point in her life. So,
well, yeah, because everyone, especially this day and age, in the age of social media, puts on a public persona.
Oh, absolutely,
and everyone's putting on their best, their
best face. Yeah, and a lot of people they haven't. Again, so cliche. You have to be able to be comfortable and confident within yourself and do the work before you're really going to find somebody who's going to fit for you. I'm fortunate in the sense that I've done the work. I've been through all the bad shit. I've gone to therapy. I know I've always been confident in who I am. My traumas didn't come from people more so as environments, so to speak. So being able to understand I don't have to be this type of way because of this environment has made it easier to connect with certain people. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't have to always have my guard up because even if I'm in an environment where I need to have my guard up, I can put it up when need be. I don't have to put it up for every fucking body. So,
and that's a hard skill to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm curious. What have you heard about me? I'm curious.
Not much, actually. Like, I actually did do a little bit of research before we got on air, hence knowing about the Chicago shit. But
thank you. Bring in a little something about me. That's
cool. No, like I feel in this industry, if I haven't heard like horrible things about you, it's good.
Yeah, no, shit. I always say if you don't like me in this business, it's probably for two reasons. Either one, I fucked your girl, which is my fucking job, so get over it.
Right.
Or two, you owe me money. My biggest enemies in this business, and in life are usually over some chick or over some money.
Well, that's most people. Like, unless you just don't vibe with someone, that's generally why most people fall out.
No, the most notorious, drama in this industry was just over my ex and the shit and again, I had nothing against them and what they had going on. That was the attack against me. I'm like, what the fuck? Hey.
Well, and I'm like, I know during your ex, like there was some allegations fucking made and shit like that.
But again, people who know me know. I mean, I'll break that whole situation down. So I mean, you guys have a drink and get comfortable for this fucking conversation. First things first, I have nothing, and I'll speak about several of my exes because I'm an open book and I don't give a fuck anymore. So, in regards to Tori Black, because again, to this day, people, I have not. I'm gonna choose my words wisely here. Nothing but love and respect for her to this day. It was never an issue of me not loving her. That was not our issue. I think we met at a time when we were in different parts of our lives, right? So, with that being said, I have not spoken to her or seen her in over 10 years. I still get messages from fans like, when are you gonna shoot another scene with her? Or they'll send me, videos of which, like, I don't care. Stop. I have a new life, new girls, the whole nine. I do appreciate that you guys like that time in her life and our lives together, but it's over.
Have you ever thought about reaching out, reconciling any of that?
I tried that. I mean, here's the breakdown. All right. And again, this is the history of that relationship. I am in the industry and I just finished out my contract. Doing really well. Got my own place, got my Mercedes, got my, I'm directing everything solid. I started dating this other porn girl. And she thinks I sell drugs because she's never met this black girl, by the way. Black girl who has never seen a black dude living the lifestyle that I'm living that wasn't a drug dealer.
That's some trauma right there on her end.
Exactly, right? So she's like, hey, can you give me some coke? I'm like, I can't get you coke. I don't do coke. It's not my thing.
Like there aren't black lawyers.
Now, right.
Black lawyers and black doctors.
Right, yeah, like, yo, bitch, like you been in Atlanta? What the fuck? So,
right, like, what the
and to start this story, this happened 15-something years ago, right? So I'm dating this girl, and I'm using the word dating very loosely. We're fucking around. She's asking for drugs. I'm telling her, I can't get you drugs. This is before I started my agency. This is me just being me, enjoying my life in LA. So I tell her, look, I've got invited to this party in the hills because there's all these fucking parties in the hills back in the days. Like literally every weekend, some rapper, ball player, friend of the industry had a house, had a mansion, had a pool, come over, hang out. Done. Come over. I had a pager. Jesus fucking Christ. I had a pager and a cell phone, get a page after this party.
You may have to explain what a pager is.
Yeah, exactly. So, right. Back before, so I had a pager, this little device that somebody would call and leave you a voicemail. So I would get a voicemail, say, hey, we doing this party. Because that was the whole thing. They didn't want it to get out to where the parties were. So you had to have a number, you would call the number, they'd give you the information where the party was. So long story short, there's this fucking party I get invited to. I tell the girl, hey, there's this party on Thursday. If you want to come to it, it's gonna be dope. Food. She says, cool. I pick her up because she was staying at her agent's house at the time. She says, hey, I got this girl I met recently. She wants to go too. Can you bring her? But she's on set right now. It's like, okay, so we'll wait, right? So we hanging out. I drive, pick the girl from set. It's Tori, and she's just got off set. She's probably 2 weeks in the business, right? Got jean shorts on, Air Force Ones. She talking all get on shit. I'm like, where are you from? like, I'm from Seattle. Okay, well, motherfuckers in Seattle don't talk like that. Like, I've been in Cleveland, Chicago, New York, LA. Like, stop talking like a ghetto black girl. Just be you. I get it. Like, you trying to impress me a little bit. I get, just chill out. Or not. Maybe it's just how you think you should be. You don't have to be that way. Go to the party, have a good time, hit on her. Nothing really happens. It's a dope party. Like, we people in the pool, butt naked. There's food there. We had a good time. Cool, done. All right, dropped him off. Here's my number. Let's talk sometime. Whatever. That was day one. So, from my understanding, she just got into the business. She was, getting her feet wet. She was staying at the LA Direct house with Derek and them, doing her thing. Everything's solid. We went out again. So it was another party a couple weeks later. So she didn't have a dress. She comes to my house. I had a bunch of dresses in my guest room. So she took one of the dresses on, looked amazing in the dressing room. We go out, we kick it, have a great time. Some of my homeboys that aren't in the industry were there. So I'm trying to put her on with one of my homeboys. Hey, this girl, she's cool. She ain't feeling them. We have a little thing. It starts to become us dating. So it's nice. It's comfortable. So again, I haven't told this story to a lot of people, but I'm going to put it out there. So we're dating casually for like, I would say about 4 months, right? She just moved to LA, didn't know the area very well, didn't know LA politics. So I'm going to put a pause on this story to start another story. So when I first came to LA and got into the business, I started working for a lot of the black companies, so to speak. One of the companies I worked for was DJ Yella's company. DJ Yella is one of the members of NWA. He had a porn company. He was paying cash for guys. So, and a lot of the black companies, West Coast, DJ Yella's company, there were like 4 or 5 companies. They didn't pay a lot for male performers, but they shot a lot. So, just for math purposes, let's just say a male performer's rate was like $500. Go in there, you fuck girl, you make $500, right? These guys are paying like maybe 2, 3, maybe 4, but they would shoot you 4 or 5 times in a week. So I started working for these guys on a regular basis. One of the guys that was providing girls for DJ Yella was a Crip dude, right? So what had happened was he was a big dog in the Crips. So he was getting girls. They weren't sex traffickers. They were just like regular chicks that were doing porno shit. They were escorting, doing porno stuff. But the big dog had some little dogs that were underneath him. And the little dog dudes realized that they were paying the porn dudes cash and started to rob the porn dudes.
Well, that's fucked.
Yeah, really fucked up. And Dwayne Cummings, wherever you are, shout out. I mean, you said a homie and stuff. Me and Dwayne had got really cool. He was another porn dude, and he lived in Long Beach. And this is before there were GPSs, and you had to fucking print out fucking, your addresses on them.
You got a MapQuest?
MapQuest. Yeah, MapQuest.
MapQuest or a fucking flip book?
Yeah. The Thomas guy. Thomas guy shit. So I had met this girl who was a dancer, and she lived in Dwayne's apartment in Long Beach. So me and Dwayne would do scenes together, and I would go, because I didn't know how the area that well. So I would drive and follow him to the freeway. So if we were shooting like, Van Nuys or some shit, Dwayne like, hey man, just want to get done shooting, just get me to the freeway. As long as I get to the freeway, I can figure out how to get there, and then we'd be good to go. So long story short, we shoot this scene. The girl we shoot a scene with, it was a 2-on-2. So it's 2 girls, 2 guys, me and Dwayne, this girl. So I'm talking to this girl, and Dwayne's ready to go. So I'm talking to this girl, and Dwayne's waiting for me. And as he's waiting for me, I took a long time, so I'm trying to fuck the girl later on. Plus, I wanted to fuck the girl that lived in his apartment complex. We leave out. He hops in his car, hop in my car. I'm following him to the freeway, and these Crip dudes pull up, like on some Miami Vice shit. They pull up, they get in front of his car, get in front. They don't realize I'm following him. So they pull their car behind his car.
So they box him in.
They box him in. Box him in. They jump out, guns to his face. He gets robbed. And I'm shook. I'm maybe 3 months into LA, 3 or 4 months, but 3 or 4 months into the game. I don't really know how this shit works.
Well, yeah, but also, what are you going to do in that situation?
Exactly. I didn't have a gun on me at the time. I dick hard. I'm thinking about bitches and shit. So.
Well, also, if you had a gun, there's many of them.
4 fucking dudes jump out of a fucking cut of, because 2 dudes in the front, 2 dudes in the back, 4 guys jump out, pull the guns out on this guy. So, and I'm shook. So they rob him. They take off. Got his money. He pulls over. I'm sorry, because I feel bad at the fact he wouldn't have got robbed if I wouldn't have taken so long. That's the way I looked at it. So I gave him my money. Said, I'm sorry, my dude. So I had worked on a bunch of videos, knew some bloods in Chicago. So I called the bloods I knew in Chicago. I was like, look, I'm in LA doing porn. I need a connect out here to help me because these Crip dudes is robbing people. I don't know how gang politics shit works. That's not my bag. I know bitches. And fucking. I know how to fight, but I ain't trying to kill nobody. I ain't trying to get robbed. But
it's also one of those situations like, in the real world, there are 4 guys with guns. Even if you had a gun, even if you started ambushing them.
Yo, I'm not Charlie Bronson. Like, right. I'm not fucking, this is not the Matrix.
Right. This is real life. Right. At the best case scenario is your friend's dead.
Right. And I've been in shootouts before. And I'm trained in weaponry. I've security training the whole 9. Like, the best I could have done was taken my car and ran over 2 of the motherfuckers and then shot 2 at best.
So,
at best. But again, this was before I had my training. I was like 20, 21, 22.
But even then, like, so much could go bad.
Yes. Thank you.
So much could go bad.
So to my point, I called these blood dudes in Chicago. They put me in contact with some bloods out here. And with all due respect to the bloods out here, they weren't doing shit. They weren't really helping. So I called my guys from East Cleveland. If you know anything about East Cleveland, with all due respect to gang dudes, motherfuckers in East Cleveland are the rawest of the raw, because they don't give a fuck. They just don't care. It's about money or pussy. It's all they care about. They don't care about colors and banging and all that shit. They will shoot you and then go back to Toledo and call it a day. So I called my East Cleveland boys. I'm like, yo, here's the deal. I'm out here, I'm doing porn. I need security guys. You guys come out, da-da-da. So these guys are out here. I'm taking care of them. I got them a hotel room. I got them bitches. I'm like, look, just for the next 2 weeks while I'm working with DJ Yella and his guys, just protect me. And sure enough, Crip dudes pulled back up. My East Cleveland dudes took care of it. Won't get in that conversation because that might be still on the books. But what had happened was, and I don't
want to get too much into details, but I do want to know a little bit more of what happened.
I'll tell you. So one of my, and I won't mention names. This is crazy.
Yeah, please don't mention names.
This
allegedly happened.
I got done. So they were paying me cash. I ended up, I had, which is stupid, I know it now, I probably had like $5,000 cash on me, right? Because I shot Monday through to Friday and we were kicking and hanging out and shit. So it's happening in Van Nuys. We stopped at the little Tom's over there, got something to eat. Crip dudes pull out. My EC guys pull out. My EC guys shot this Crip. So my EC guys shot this Crip. The Crip that they shot was the nephew of the guy who was providing girls for DJ Yella. So exactly. So, and they knew it was me. They're like, yo, from what I was told, the Crip dude who got shot told his uncle, like, yo, this porno nigga shot me. And you know who the fuck it is, and we gonna da-da-da. He like, first of all, so he's the big homie's like, what were you doing in Van Nuys? Y'all motherfucker ain't supposed to be out here. And he realized, oh, he fucked up. They didn't get the okay to come out there to be in Van Nuys robbing porn dudes. So Yella's people or somebody, they had a sit down. They were like, look, we need you, T, to come sit and talk to them. I told them, like, look, I'm just doing porno shit. They robbed Dwayne and some other guys earlier, so I've got my guys out here to be my security and to be ready for this shit. So I knew it was gonna happen. Your boy got shot. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So
he didn't get dead.
And that was on thing. It's like, yo, it could have been worse. He just got shot. Everything's okay. We have to go to police. And this is what happened. So the OG of the Crips was like, okay, my boys is wrong. They shouldn't have been doing this. But your boy did shoot my boy. So how we gonna make this work? So I was like, okay, I'll cover his medical. So he's taken care of medically wise. Here's some cash for the medical. And the only leverage I had was avian tickets. So it's a true story. So I told him, like, look, I'll give you my avian tickets when the award show comes up so that you can take somebody to the award show, and I just won't go that year. So my first 2 years of avian, I didn't go. And in my second year of being in the business, I gave my avian tickets to this Crip dude. So if you look at some of the pictures, you can tell because he's dressed like a fucking Crip on the red carpet for avian.
Well, that's so crazy because, like, how bad that could have potentially gone for your career.
Oh my God.
Because, like, if he had done some gangster shit at AVN.
Facts.
On your fucking tickets.
Exactly. Well, at that time, he was just happy to bring around a bunch of bitches. He's like, because his whole thing was he was providing girls to do videos, but he just kind of wasn't in the game. He couldn't figure out how to navigate that world. So I'm like, look, I'll give you tickets. Just don't do any gangster shit. Go fuck the bitches and kick it and da-da-da and bring your girls. So he had a great fucking time. He was happy. So, and again, to his credit, he was a man about it. It was street culture. He respected the fact that what his guys did was wrong. And he respected the fact that I tried to make up for it. And it was kind of that, again, the street shit I learned in Cleveland, Chicago got me that position where it's like, okay, he knows how things are now and we cool and everything's smoothed out. So, but now to the point of Tori, her and her homegirl, we were supposed to go out on a date. It was one of those things like, okay, saw her on Tuesday. Let's get together on Friday, like on Thursday. So I'm gonna catch up with you, I love you, see you, I'll highlight you. This is before we actually had started our full relationship and shit. But we were dating, I started to care about it. So her and her homegirl went out from what I was told and from how the story goes, they went to the Roosevelt, met these dudes that were basically some sex traffickers. And again, I'm supposed to be seeing, imagine you're in my situation. You're dating this girl, you're starting to have feelings for her. She's not from the street. She's not from LA. She doesn't really know how to navigate shit. So, and then she disappears. So I'm calling her, and I'm at first, I'm like, well, maybe she just doesn't want to talk to me. Day 1, day 2, okay, maybe something's going on. Day 3, nobody's heard from her or her homegirl. Derek from LA Direct didn't know where she was. None of her friend knew where she was. She didn't go back home. So now her homegirl reaches out to me and says, look, this is what happened. We went to Roosevelt. We met these dudes. They're at a house up in the hills. They basically have done unspeakable things to us, and they're not letting us go. They're not letting her go specifically, because their whole thing was, we going to move her to the state, out of state, basically. We found this pretty white girl. We got her. It's about to go down. So I got 2 options. I can let the shit go, or I can get to some gangster shit. So, and again, I'm caring about this person. So my vote was to get into some gangster shit. So who do I call? My guys from East Key. So like, yo, and they by this time they had moved to LA. So they were in LA and kind of in the mix. So we had a fucking sit down meeting. Fellas, this is a situation. Dating this girl, caring about her. She linked up with these dudes. They on some sex trafficking shit. Her agent ain't gonna do shit. She ain't got no family out here. Like, I need some help. We need to go get her and just shut this shit down. Done. So we get our guns, we go to the house, knock on the door. Hey, I need to holler at the old girl. She comes outside. We have a conversation. The dude who's running the show, have a conversation with him. You need to let her go. She's spoken for. He don't know that my guys is posted up in areas where they can everything out, get it done. So he panics because he didn't know she had somebody that gave a fuck about her. And
well, he don't want the attention.
Yeah, he don't want the attention. Like, if he's thinking, I met some stupid 19-year-old white girl who I can sex traffic, and me and my pimp dudes can take her to fucking Houston or Atlanta, whatever, we gonna make our money. He don't realize you just picked up some porn girl who's under contract, who just doesn't know how to navigate the street shit. And she got some street dudes that's willing to do some street shit to get her back. So do you really want that problem? Like, seriously. So I'm serious. I paid my homeboys cash, got him taken care of, make sure he was good. Basically told the dude, like, look, have her back within the next 24 hours, or it's gonna get uncomfortable for a lot of people, basically. And sure enough, they dropped her back off. But by this time, she had been gone, and Derek from LA Direct wasn't gonna do shit. He didn't give a fuck, so he kicked her out the model house. He basically like, all right, bitch.
I can imagine how upset Derek.
Oh yeah, right. Like, he gave a fuck, right? So, but again, at the time, as a guy who cared, that was a big risk for me. I cared about this person. I was falling in love with this person. I knew street shit. I knew if they got her out the city, this is rap. You never gonna see her ever again. It's gonna be done. So again, I told her, like, look, I did this because I'm falling in love with you. I did this because I care about you. I want to see you get hurt. I want to see you rise. I think you could do well in this business, and I'm willing to help you with that. Like, I'm not doing this because I'm getting some money out. Like, this was not the Tori Black that you guys know now. This was day 1 level shit.
Well, and like, you're not just trying to do this to get financial gain.
Yeah, I don't need shit from you. I'm already got money. I already got pussy. Like, I'm doing this because we've been fucking dating. Like, and I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm not a pimp. I'm not over here trying to. I know pimp shit. I know pimp isms. I know lifestyle and shit. But I've never gotten $1 off a girl ever outside of my legal agency, which happened because I knew the business very well and could get people work. Honestly, my first 19 checks were all mainstream shit. It was all cable companies or rappers booking porn stars for, like, HBO's,
real sex
and some bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Real sex, fucking, some Showtime Cinemax things. Like, I would get
softcore shit.
All the softcore shit. I would get calls like, hey, do you know a girl who can like, and that's how I started becoming a manager first, and then became an agency from there. But again, I'll rewind the story. So Tori and I after that whole situation happened, she moved in with me. We were together. I helped her guide her with her career. I sat down with Derek, and because Derek was basically, I was like, the first conversation was Derek, because Derek had a stranglehold on girls back in the days.
Oh, no. We used to say Derek's pimp hand was very strong.
Oh, very strong. If y'all know what I'm talking about, Derek Hay from LA Direct Models, who has been recently indicted for sex trafficking. So it ain't like I'm saying anything that's not fucking true. Like, this is how things work. There were 3 agents back then. Derek from LA Direct, Spiegler from Spiegler's Girls, and fucking who passed away? My guy, Roy Marlin, Jim South.
Yep.
That was it. And they were kind of like, guys who knew people and some pimps around. But
what year was this?
This was 2005, 6 maybe.
Okay,
7 years, somewhere. Yeah,
it's before my time.
Yeah, it's before your time. That's why I'm giving you the backstory.
Oh yeah,
backstory. So this is before like Gold Star modeling and 101 and like most of those
ATM,
yeah, right. But exactly. This is way before that time frame. It was the top 3. That's what it was. And Derek was like, she missed out on jobs. She fucking around with these dudes. I don't give a fuck about her. Said this to my face. I don't care about this. He said, I don't care about her, T. And I said, I do care about her. So how about we come to some type of agreement? Like, I'll help you. I'll give you some game. I'll make sure she's safe. She'll do her job, and she'll figure it out. Like most 19, 20-year-olds do in their fucking life. But I care about this person. Don't want to see him get fucked up. And I know you're going to burn her out. So we worked on her career together. I helped her get to where she needed to be at. And again, I heard all the rumors. I never fucking hit her, never yelled at her. You can tell you, I never raised my voice. We had a great relationship. I think what happened was, as her career started to rise, it became less of a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, more of like a dad-daughter situation where you older and you saying things to me that make me feel like I can't be me. And I'm like, no, I'm saying these things because I want to see you win. Like, you just got your license. Why are you buying a Mercedes? Or why are you buying a Beamer that you crashed like within the first month? Or why would you want to spend $3,000 a month to rent an apartment when we could be buying a house? Like, those are the conversations that were kind of, button head type shit.
I mean, that shit happens. It does. Like, I've dated some, younger performers in the industry, and it's just like, you broach stuff like, so what's your plan, like, from when you eventually have to get in front of the camera?
Right.
And like, oh, that has gotten some bad reactions.
No, again, rewind the time frame. There was no OnlyFans. There was no, there were websites. Most girls back then, and I had this conversation 1,000 times, back then there were hundreds of companies. So you could make money as a porn star just doing porn.
Oh yeah, just showing up on set.
I get into an argument, the whole interracial shit. Like, if you were a 19-year-old girl, you would come in January at Avian. You might come to the convention, meet some companies, decide, I could be a porn star. And from January, when the convention starts, until like June, you could just do girl-girl. There were 50 girl-girl companies. So now let's just say you did a video in February, that video is not going to come out for 3 months. February, March, April. So now April, you got 50 DVDs in the store of you just doing girl shit. So now you can do another 6 months of just boy-girl shit. Now you spent the first year doing girl and boy-girl. Now the next avian comes around, they want to see you do anal. They want to see you do interracial. They want to see you do a gangbang. So a good agent, with all due respect to, Derek and those guys, they would just pit the companies against each other. Tiffany Lynn's first anal scene. Who wants it?
Oh yeah, because holding on to the anal or holding on to an IR scene in those days, like,
it was money. It was money.
And I'll go on record, like, when I first got in, when it's like, it's fucked up in retrospect, but it was just like, I had friends who were like, oh, they're trying to pay me this much for an IR scene. I'm like, why would you not take the money?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, it's problematic when you look at it like, oh, hey, that's, the color of your skin shouldn't actually matter on the price.
It wasn't really so much, and this is where the discrepancy comes. You weren't getting paid for doing IR. You were being paid to do your first so they could have the window to exploit that. You shot that scene. It went on a DVD. They needed time to actually produce that DVD and then get it into a store and then sell it or sell it to a store line. It took time to do that. So it made sense to pay a girl more money for that.
But they were still paying girls more money for their second, third, just IR season.
Well, true, but also those were pitting companies against each other. If you owned Sticky Productions and our own Runny Productions, I don't want you to have that girl on the box cover. I want to get her before you get her, and I'm willing to pay her more. That's how it went back in the days. So it made sense to an extent. It wasn't like, okay, she's just doing it, so now we're going to pay her X, Y, Z. Yeah, there was definitely some racism and some bullshit sprinkled in the mix, but it was also just straight capitalism. Just straight fucking capitalism.
Well, yeah, because in those days, some of the shit sold better because
you had a pretty girl on the box cover, and I was that dude where you can Google me, service animals, fucking black dicks, white chicks, black on white crime, like some girl, like, you know, the titties out, when it's look and smile with me in a fucking chair, fucking looking at her like she about to get fucked in the ass, because she was. I mean, that was a thing back then.
Did it ever bother you though?
The titles did sometimes, but again, my situation was different because I was a contract guy. I got, you know, the first contract. I worked with this company. I started working for companies, and my name had started to kind of get into those circles. The first situation was that the HIV situation happened. So the industry is shut down, and a lot of guys had just left. So there wasn't an abundance of male talent. And then what Red Light District did, which was really genius, is that they signed all the guys to contracts, where Vivid, Wicked, you know, all the other production companies were signing girls. They were like, lock down the guys. Lock down the best guys and just have them working for us exclusively. So me as T-Real, Shawn Michaels, Manuel Ferreira, Eric Everhard, Vince Voyer, John Strong, like we were all in the Red Light District, Platinum X family, basically. And when Vince sat me down, he was like, look, here's the deal. We need, like, I've heard good things about you. You show up on time, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you're not gonna be a problem for me, basically. And you perform really well. And they threw me in the what's her name? Rebecca Linares. Was it Richard Linares? Oh, it was Roxy Giselle.
Okay.
Roxy Giselle gangbang. And if you look at that, they had the top guys were in that fucking gangbang. The fact that, like, I didn't fail, I had no problems, I held the DP, all that shit, they were like, yeah, this kid's got it. So he was like, look, this is how we want to do it. We want to start signing on guys. You know, we're going to test you out for a year. It's going to be a year contract. And we basically we'll just call you, show up, you fuck the girl, and be done with it. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm already making some decent money just doing one-offs. And that was like really becoming a porn star. Like, you're going to do this as a fucking career. And I spoke to my parents about it, spoke to my financial advisor. I gave them a number. And they gave me a number that was twice that fucking number.
Holy shit!
Like, I'll be honest. I was making more money than a lot of people just as a performer back then, and that was a high six figures just as a performer for that specific company.
Well, and that's how it could be back in the day. Like, when I first got in 2010, 2011, I worked for girls that were fucking just taking it down,
bank.
Making bank, just fucking showing up to set, doing their thing, making their public appearances at conventions.
There you go.
And that's it.
If you're not familiar with Red Light District, they were the distributors of the Paris Hilton tape. They were printing money. I mean, they probably make money to this day off that fucking tape. So it was nothing for them to write a check for a bunch of guys for six figures and be like, look, we just fuck chicks all day long. And my whole thing was, and I get a lot of fuck about my name, the T-Real, one of the stipulations in my contract was that you can't work me all 7 days. I could only work 5 days in a row, or I had to work every other day. That was the deal. But this one particular time, they had started flying these girls in from overseas. And these two chicks were fucking, to this day, I don't even know their fucking names. I'm so horrible about it. Some of the baddest bitches I've ever fucked in my life, these two chicks. And the first day, the Monday, the chick was from Canada. Second chick was from America. The third chick was from South Africa. It was like every day that week, there was a girl from a different continent. So the last day, because the director, Tim Swine, was like, you're not supposed to work today, are you? I was like, nah. Like, I thought that was the big thing in your contract. You're not supposed to work 7 days in a row. And I was like, man, I'm trying to be world famous today. You see these two? So Tim Von Swine started calling me the world famous T-Real. That's how I got that name. That's not like I'm some egotistical dude. It was because I had broke my contract to work with these girls from a different country, because in that week I had worked with a girl from every continent on the fucking planet. So that's where the world famous T-Real came from.
Amazing. Yeah. It's fucking awesome.
But back to my original story about the fucking Tori situation. So with that,
tangents happen on this show. Don't worry.
Tangents happen on this show. We jump around from a lot. So, but again, even before that story, before I got my contract, I was working from company to company, and I'm not going to mention this company's name. And at the time, a lot of companies were going overseas for the first time. They were going to Europe and getting Hungarian girls and all these Eastern European girls because they were fucking beautiful, except for their feet.
Just take that out of frame.
Just put that out of frame. Because here's the thing about Eastern European women. They walk everywhere. So their feet are usually fucked up, but they're in great shape and they look amazing and they do a lot of things sexually. Not all of them, but that was kind of the go-to in regards to the porn industry shit. So a lot of these companies, if you look at old DVDs back in the days, they would be like so-and-so's European Adventure or whatever the fuck it was. So they start going to Europe and shooting these models. So
shit, I remember Naughty America did some shit like where they went to Paris.
Yeah, everybody did. Yeah. Everybody went to Paris or like I said, Hungary, Budapest, So, and one, again, not to be racist, but it was hard to find black guys back then who had passports. They didn't have any issues and could go and go travel and stuff. So I'll tell you who was on this trip, but I won't say the company because the people who are on this trip can vouch for this story. It was me. I want to say Country Pipes, Dominico, Richard Mann. Shout out to Richard. Me and Richard Mann are fucking tight to this day because of this fucking trip. We went out. We go overseas with this company, and they're paying these girls cash because. Now, just for math purposes, let's just say boy-girl rate back then for a girl was about $1,000, right? Simple boy-girl, one sex scene, $1,000. In Europe, they were getting girls through like gangbangs for like $300 cash. So these girls were doing everything very, very cheap, very, very affordable.
I gotta love that exchange rates.
Gotta love the exchange rates, right? And I mean, these girls are gorgeous, and we were like going. So we go on this trip with this company and the producer and. His whole thing is we have to bring cash. You have to bring cash, which you legally can't do. So some people got the cash overseas with us, and they're paying cash to these models. This production manager had decided the second half of this trip that we were going to hang out at this brothel, this very famous brothel in Prague, after we got done shooting. Now, my whole thing is, because I'm a businessman, is you're paying me to fuck these chicks. We can just go back to the hotel and just chill. Like, we don't have to go to a brothel, and then pay chicks to have sex. That's just stupid. It made no sense to me. But, we bunch of cute black dudes, we having a good time. So
sometimes you got to do it for the story.
Do it for the story, right? Do it for the story. So we go to this brothel in Prague, very famous brothel. And it's like, if you're not familiar with brothels in Prague, they're like dance clubs. And there's like a lounge area, then there's an upstairs area with like hotel rooms. It's kind of like how it is, how the prostitution stuff works in Tijuana. Like there's a club, there's a bar, and you can pick the girls and stuff. So the girls had taken a liking to us because we're young and we're cool and and we're basically fucking some of us for free. And my whole thing was like, I found like two girls and we kind of hung out. I'm all about massages. So I would get my feet rubbed. I would get my back rubbed. She would suck my dick. And then she'd like, come up to the room. And I'm like, I don't want to pay. She's like, please, I just want to fuck you. Like, all right. So I fucked a couple girls, whatever. But I wasn't breaking my bread with these chicks. Like, I appreciate free sex and it's cool, but I'm not spending my money on this. Here's my information. We can talk. Long story short, I decide I'm going back to this happens for like a week where we would shoot a bunch of scenes, go back to the hotel room, they would change clothes, we would go to the brothel, get dinner, and then I would hang out and go back to the room and they would stay there all night.
I got a really off topic.
Go ahead.
How's the food at the brothel?
Good. Fucking good. Fucking good. To this day, and again, I'm not big on eating steaks and stuff, but I had probably the third best steak I've ever had in my life at this brothel. Cooked to fucking perfection. But yeah, I digress. So,
I was just curious. Like,
yeah. Food, because I'm a foodie too. I'm actually like, we got.
Well, because like that's how I judge like travel. Like,
it's like when you go to strip clubs in like Tampa, and you're like, this buffet is delicious. Like, what the fuck?
Speaking of like Chicago strip clubs, did you ever go make it down to Atlantis, like in the South Burbs?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, the fucking food there was so good.
So good. So good.
I'm just like, how the fuck does this club have stuff?
I wish I could remember the name of this place, but there was a place where they would serve you food and the girls were bringing out, of course, they didn't have any clothes on. So they would, they had paste, they had fucking bottoms on and shit. But the girl, I got a sandwich, she sat down, I'm eating my sandwich, she's talking, she starts eating off my plate. And I was like, I was gonna fuck with you, start eating my food. That was the one thing, that was like the breaking point for me. It's like, I like you, but you fucked it up by eating my food.
Back to the red flags.
Exactly, red flags. Listen up, ladies, don't eat off your man's plate, especially not the first, second date.
Yeah, like when we're established.
And with all due respect, to be a stripper eating off of my plate that you just brought out to me, that's not, that killed the vibe.
Yeah, that's a bad move.
Bad move, definitely bad move. So again, let me go back to the story. So I'm
just curious.
We're in a lot of tangents here, folks. You just gotta stay with me, stay focused. So
that's not the jam here.
We go to Prague. They're going to these brothels. They get robbed. So I go to sleep. I go.
Who'd they get robbed by?
The girls.
Okay.
So he's probably got the production manager, whose name I won't mention. He's probably got $30,000 cash on him. We've gone out there with like $50,000 cash on us because we're paying the girls and they're paying us every time we shoot the scenes. So he's probably got about $30,000 cash on him. We go to a brothel, have dinner, kick it. There was a girl who I actually liked at the brothel, and she was like, "Will you come stay tonight? Will you come hang out?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm tired." So I go back to the hotel and go to sleep. I wake up in the morning. She's there with some of the guys, and like 2 other girls are there. And then they like put them in a cab. They went home and stuff. And I'm like, and everybody's got like the energy is shifted. Before it's all like fun and kicking and shit. And then like everybody's like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck's going on? He's like, yo, we got robbed. Like one of the girls that the production manager was with, he said she put something in her drink and then like they don't have our production budget. So we were trying to figure out how to get home. So it was really, really bad. So production got robbed by these girls at the brothels. We go home. I'm like, I'm cool. I'm not fucking with no more overseas trips. So after that trip, more and more people started to go, right? And again, I'm going to name names because I don't give a fuck anymore. This one specific company went out with this one specific production person who goes by the name of Mime Freak, who is Tori's husband or baby daddy now, right? At the time, he was the production person. So they're going overseas. Don't know the actual story. Just know that he was trying to move drugs from the trip back in and got arrested. Did jail time for it. Did a couple years for that, right?
Oh, shit.
So again, I don't do drugs. Don't sell drugs. It's not my bag. I don't know that man's life. That's just what happened. Companies were going overseas. They were doing stuff overseas. Again, he got, from my understanding, and I could have the story completely, kind of off, but he was arrested for trying to get drugs back into the country off of one of those trips.
Who brings drugs into the United States? It's the United States. We're full of drugs.
I mean,
we're full of drugs.
Okay, so with that being said, you're fucking stupid, in my opinion. I mean, you are fucking. I don't know why you did it. I don't know what made you decide you thought that was a good idea, but it fucking happened. So I don't know this dude. We're not cool. We're not homies, but we had a couple interactions. I knew of him, and I particularly knew of that situation. I knew that he had a couple, had a baby mama. So that was 15 years prior. So now I'm with Tori. We're having our relationship. Things are going good. I'm helping her. And again, we had boyfriend, girlfriend issues, bitches that obviously as her career was rising, there were girls who got my attention. Or I'm like, we don't really have an open relationship, but we break up a couple times and I, get some pussy on the side or some things. We never really had a conversation of what our boundaries were. And that was what I've learned now as an older man, what to have when it comes to people inside or outside of relationship. And there were numerous times with directors and talent and people who would just make shit up to try to break us up.
That's fucked.
It's super fucked. Like, I mean, Bobby Manila, like there were just directors on people who just wanted to fuck her, wanted to fuck with me, say just make some things. I remember motherfuckers called me one night when I was in bed with her and was like, yo, your girl over here at this party. It's like, really? Like, really? Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Mr. Marcus would do shit. Like, we'd be at a party, he would see her and pick her up like, yo, T, I got your girl. Like, just dumb shit just to fuck with me, which is completely unnecessary. So I'm like, okay, you show me how you feel about me and you show me how you feel about our relationship. So I'm just going to act accordingly. Either I'm going to keep my distance or, we can throw hands when it comes down to it. Like, what is what it is. So
did you think it's a jealousy issue or?
Both. I mean, I think that, I'm a really low-key dude. I don't really be out there like that. I don't really try to become friends with a lot of people. I think that, what a lot of male performers in this business, have egos. I should be getting all the put. Well, so there's guys who get into this business because they are secure. They're just comfortable in their masculinity and the big thing. This is a gig for them. Then there's guys who feel like I am entitled to the pussy. I am super dick. Everybody should want me. Everybody should want to fuck me. And then some girls just don't want, especially when you have that type of vibe, they don't really want to fuck with you, right? So, and at the time, she didn't drink. She didn't smoke. I'm pretty much a straight edge type of dude for the most part. I mean, she drank occasionally, but she wasn't like a party girl when we were dating. I don't know what happened after when we were dating. She wasn't doing that. So I think, and again, because she was one of the rising stars and she was so pretty, there was definitely a desirable factor there. And there was definitely people who wanted, and again, I hate to even talk about my past relationship like that, but some people ask so much about it. So I'm just going to get it out there and be done with it. So, some people just don't want you to be happy. And that's just unfortunate.
Well, because they're unhappy and seeing someone else is happy fucking bothers them.
Yeah, true. And it's another thing where guys think that you are stopping them from getting that pussy. No. Whether I'm here or not, she wouldn't fuck with you. So,
well, on the flip side, if she really wanted to fuck with you,
she would. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And for the girls too, it was dozens of girls who were like, and I hate to admit it, like girls when we broke up, who was like, I was trying to break y'all up for so long. I'm like, that's fucked up.
Right.
Like, or girls I fucked when we broke up, who were like, she was keeping all this to herself. I'm like, I was feeling you till you said that shit. Like, what the fuck? So, I mean, it's human nature bullshit. But if you're not secure in where you are in your relationship, you're not secure who you are as a person, those cracks are there and it's gonna break shit. So with that being said, we got to the point where we just broke up. It was pretty amicable. Like, we had been living, I think that for me, she moved in with me and we had an apartment together. And then we moved together into an apartment. And we broke up and then she moved into another apartment independently. And then she had me move into that place. It was a lot of breaking up, getting back together. And it wasn't like, I don't like you, it was just kind of growing pains type stuff. And then the straw that kind of broke the camel's back was that she was moving into the Palazzo in LA, which is the big apartment complex across from the 3rd Street Promenade. And I was like, if you're in LA, if you're at the CBS studios, there's that big shopping mall right next to it.
Oh, okay. Like,
so there's
like right over.
Yeah, 3rd Street, like down, like West Hollywood area.
So, okay, like
yeah.
Oh, like okay, like
yeah. The point I'm trying. If you don't know it, doesn't make the point is it's a very very expensive place.
I know exactly where, like by Park La Brea and all.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Yeah. So is especially at the time, for math purposes, it would be like paying $10,000 to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. And my argument was that if you're going to spend that much money, and at that point in my career, I was like, I had already done it all, with the exception of being an agent. I worked on production companies. I was starting to get back into my mainstream stuff because I was like, you know what? I'm at an age where I don't want to be a performer full time. I've got other opportunities. We did this movie together, and the movie was, we were getting ready. I was getting ready to release it. It was getting some traction and stuff. So I was like, okay, I think that now it's time for me to make my exit to go back into the mainstream. So getting back into using music videos, get back into production stuff. And, my finances are not where they used to be because I'm taking a step back. So I need to be more frugal with my cash flow. If something happens to you, we're going to be homeless. If you're paying all the bills while I'm trying to, figure some things out, it's not going to work. She moved into the place. And at the time, I didn't know, going back, that she had met Mind Freak at that time on a set. So they had started to talk. And there was that weird, which you women do, that weird love triangle thing where you still fucking your ex-boyfriend, but you talking to the new dude and they don't want to really tell people and shit. And
well, because it's one of those things where in a lot of cases, women don't cheat and don't till the relationship's basically over in their mind already.
Right, in their mind already, right. So, and my whole thing was like, okay, cool. Like, I still love you. I still care about you. I want you to be happy. If we're not going to be together, let's still just be friends. Let's just be cordial about things. Like, again, I've never had an argument with her. I've never raised my voice. I never hit her. I'm a chill dude. Like, and the reason why is because of my own confidence. I'm confident in who I am. I love me. I think I'm fucking awesome. Like, I'm a cool dude to get along with. Like, if you don't think I'm a good thing or a good person for you,
bring bourbon.
Yeah, I bring bourbon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the type of dude where if I was a chick, I would fuck with him. He handsome, he got money, he's funny, like, if I check off all these boxes for me and they're not good enough for you, then cool, go.
That sounds like your problem.
Yeah, that's your fucking problem. So I wish you the best. So I was like, I'm gonna subtract myself from that situation. So at the time, I was working for a couple of production companies, and again, my side hustle was really getting other girls work. So I started a management company, and I started managing a couple of high-profile girls. I was helping out Jocelyn James, who's one of Tiger Woods' ex-mistresses. Tiffany Starr, who was I think she was nominated for like Best New Star. I was helping them just kind of get their business together and doing business shit. Like, motherfuckers thought I'm a pimp. Then it's like, no, how do you trademark your name? How do you start your LLC? How do you set it up so that you can actually do touring and you can sell merch and these things? I have a fucking degree in business. So I knew how to do these things. A lot of these things I had done for Tori. I at very least helped it, like, okay, I'm gonna start dancing. Where are you gonna be dancing at? In IE. Okay, let's get you a Lakers girl outfit because they are huge Laker fans, or a Raiders girl outfit because they're huge Raider fans out there. So if you go dancing in this outfit, you're gonna kill it. And those little sprinkles of game that I helped her with, I was just helping with other girls. Like, I could go into 1,000 times I've helped her with her career just giving some basic game and being supportive, as you're supposed to do as a fucking boyfriend. So
for sure,
my thought process was like, let me stop doing all this stuff for the girl I'm dating and just do it for other women and get paid for it.
So is there any resentment on your end that you helped her out like this and then?
No, and that's the thing too. Like, I genuinely loved her and wanted to see her do well. There was no resentment. There was no hate. There was literally, from my mom, I was like, all right, because here's the thing. I'm cool with every girl I've ever dated except for two. She's one of them. Since the 5th fucking grade, every girlfriend I've ever had, follow me, hey, how you doing? Call me on Facebook. I can call them up. We don't kick it. I respect their relationships, their husbands and shit, but I'm just that type of dude. No resentment at all. Never called her name, no issues. So after we broke up, she starts dating him. And he's doing what we refer to in the hood as dirty macking. So I started a management company. He started fucking some of the girls at the management company. I knew about it, but I couldn't say anything about it. It's like, I'm gonna just let it go, right? As time progressed, I started the agency. Because there's different things in California between what agencies and managers can do. So
I know there was some controversy when you first started the management company.
Right.
Like, some of the other agents were trying to call you out on that shit.
Yeah, and again, that's another controversy I've had in this business that like no. At the time, I didn't want to be an agent. I just wanted to get a call from like a casting director at HBO, be like, hey, we got a girl for you, get my little 10% and call it a day. When I realized you can't really do that in the porn game, it's a little bit different. And when production companies are really calling you, you have to be more full-fledged. And it wasn't that, like, as an agent in California, you have to be licensed and bonded. They run a background check. You have to have a bond. You have a certain amount of money. I had all those things. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. I just didn't want to at the time.
Well, you got to carry fucking workers' comp in case when you're...
All of that shit. Workers' comp stuff. I had to pull in my entertainment lawyer for my mainstream shit to oversee those things. And then I had to, at the time, Derek was really running shit. So his and I get it, it's business. So Derek from LA Direct, his fear was that the only person that can really go against me is T. He's young, he black, people like him, they know him, the girls like him. I'm not going to get any real pushback from any of my other rivals, to be honest. the only person that could really put me out of business from an agency is that guy. So I need to cut that fuck off at the knees as quickly as possible. So, he would do his first thing he would do is he would say, you can't book any girls from Ideal Image Models. And if you do, you can't get these girls from LA Direct. That's the first thing he would do.
That's fucked.
It's fucked up, exactly.
It's against what an agent should be doing. You are costing your clients money.
There you go. Exactly. So that was the first thing. And then we called him out on that shit. He tried to sue us. And then I was like, okay, well, we'll just countersue. And what Derek didn't realize is that he realized once we went to the deposition is that I knew all where the bodies were built. I knew all the sex trafficking stuff he was doing. I knew all the things that he was taking girls' checks and signing them over, and all the illegal things that he was doing. So I was like, oh, you want to go to war? I'm built for this shit. I got the money for it and the lawyers for it. Let's go. I'll burn this piece to the fucking ground. Let's fucking roll. And he was like, oh shit, T is that crazy. So we won't. We won't do that. And I can't speak on the legal matters of that, but let's just say I won and we did well, and I started my agency.
And the agency is still here.
Still here to this day. Knock on wood. So
I actually want to jump a little bit to what the potential future for the industry, because we are looking potentially at shit becoming illegal in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's a little scary right now.
So where does that put you? Where does that put your agency? Do you feel like this will end up being more gangster shit? It'll go back to the old days?
Well, here's the thing. The first line of defense is, from an agency perspective, for me personally, I've been able to diversify. So I have a webcam studio in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. We have mainstream connections, so we still do a lot of rappers, Bootsy. The list goes on. I've put so many girls in rap videos and gotten paid for it. It's been great. And then the OnlyFans management is definitely be something that we look into as well.
But if shit
goes to shit. Well, for me,
you can't fucking pay your bills on.
Well, no. Well, for me personally, I have other businesses. I've produced 9 feature films. I'm an actor. I do comedy. For me personally, I have other ways to make money, not to knock people in the industry or my staff and stuff, but I'll be okay financially. I know how to.
But what about your clients?
But again, they're going to have to figure some things out. I am the first Black man to own a licensed and bonded talent agency in the history of this business. And my phones were tapped by the feds. I've had the FBI at my office. I've had them say, hey, we are looking at you. And I've said to them, look all you want. My books are good. My IRS shit is good. I know what they've told you about me, but I don't do any of that shit. I wouldn't have got to be this old and not have a fucking record if I had a secret dungeon full of bitches. What the fuck? So we good over here. So if you decide to make all this shit illegal, then I'm just going to move on to some other legal businesses. I'm not going to be the one trying to maneuver shit the way some of my competitors do now. It's a known secret about agents who send girls to Dubai. It's a known secret of agents who, are dipping into the girls' OnlyFans money and their other ways of making money. That's just not what the fuck I do. I know all the illegal things that some of my competitors do, but again, it ain't my business to be involved with that unless those streams touch me specifically. So, as always, we're hoping and praying that, everybody who's registered to vote goes out and does the right thing and checks off those boxes so that.
We're in California. Our votes don't matter.
Well, true. Because, it's always going to lean towards towards the liberal way, hopefully. But I'm from Ohio. I'm from Illinois. I've been, I hear the chatter of what people think, which is mostly bullshit because they don't read and they don't actually pay attention to shit. So, and I'm just going to put it out there. You can't vote for Trump and think that this is still going to be in existence. You can't vote for certain Republicans and think that this shit is going. Close your eyes close your eyes and think about things that 10 years ago we were able to do without a problem that you can't do today. And that you was like, what? Like what? I remember being in elementary school and reading the book Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And to think that book is banned in the Burbank Library now, it's fucking crazy to me. The fact that you can't get a legal abortion in some states, fucking crazy to me. So you have to go out and vote make these things able to be something that's just like, it's, to me, it's like common sense. But again, common sense is common. Why would you want to live in a world where you are allowing your freedoms to be taken away for somebody else's gain? It's bullshit.
Well, unfortunately, there's a bunch of people who are just like, well, I don't agree with those things, so I'm going to take them away from people.
And that's the problem. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of shit, but that ain't my bag. That ain't my, I mean, if we're just talking about reproductive rights, that's your pussy. It ain't mine.
Right.
So, I mean, if somebody wanted to decide what they would do my ball sack tomorrow, I'd be like, I don't think that's in your business, right? So, it's scary and it's unfortunate, and you know, I only encourage people to, I mean, people that do your research, but do your research and think about what's really important to you.
Well, so what are you advising your clients if shit goes wrong? Like, because
well, I mean, it's going to be layers to it. So if you can't do porn anymore, you got to dance. If you can't dance, maybe you can cam. If you can't cam anymore, you gotta, you know, there'll still be fan interactions. So I mean, the girls in a different bracket in a good situation to be in, because there's 101 ways for them to make money in some capacity. I mean, for guys too, but I mean, I personally, I don't sell my draws. I don't know.
you have to.
I mean, well, again, I do comedy, so I've been on tour. You know, I've got 4 movies that I got 2 movies I'm doing in the next 3 months, and I've got 2 movies that I've completed that aren't even out yet. So, you know, just mainstream movies. Just I have action film. My company produces action and horror films, so we'll still keep making movies. Again, I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable, and I'll keep doing that. But again, the adult business has been good to me. It's made me money. I have a staff. I would hate to have to let those people go. I've got probably 19 to 20 webcam models that work at my company on a regular basis. I've got 3 part-time staff, 4 full-time staff. I've got 2 offices. You know, I'm hoping to not sit those people down and say, hey, you don't have a job anymore, you know? So, but if it comes down to that, I'm going to have to respect the law, because I ain't going to jail, and I'm not trying to make them go to jail. I'm not trying to put them in positions that can jeopardize their livelihood and their families. I got a model right now who's in her 50s taking care of her grandson and granddaughter who cams. So, I mean, people are doing this because it's a necessity in some cases, and in other cases, it's one of the best ways to make money. So I got into business. I didn't get into business because I was already getting pussy. I was already fucking hot chicks. I mean, that was a plus. It was great, but it was the financial freedom to do other things and the time. I mean, you being in this business, you really understand and value your time. I was able to do a scene and then not have to worry about having to work for a week. And in that time frame, I could write, I could produce, I could do charity work. I mean, there was so many things I could do within my time frame, and I could mostly help other people. So that was the benefit of being a performer for the most part. But we're going back to the secondary story. I mean, the drama came about when her at the time boyfriend was doing all these things that I knew about and I couldn't warn her about.
Right, because you just come across as a jealous ex, right?
Exactly. Thank you. Right. It's like I know Mind Freak is fucking these girls. I know he's using his position of power to sexually assault certain people. I brought it to the attention of the company that he was working with, and they basically blew it off. And I chose to not work with that company. We took a huge financial hit at the time. And I would just tell models, like, I can't send you to this company because they're going to try to do these things to you from what I've been told. And we've chosen as an agency to not work with these companies and work with him because just from a business perspective, subtract my moral code out of it. From a business perspective, if something happens to you and I'm aware of it, I can lose my license as an agent.
Well, and it's just bad business to send your clients, so it put them in harm's way.
But a lot of people do. A lot of agents do. Like a lot of, I try to do my due diligence and know who this person is and what their background is, and do they have a legitimate company? How are they paying you? Like, do my job as an agent so you feel comfortable me sending you to a place. So, he was a part of a handful of people in the industry who did those things. And this has all come out from other models who've come forward and say, this is my story.
A lot of this shit were poorly kept secrets.
Yeah, and that too. So
fucking look at Ron.
Yeah, but there you go.
How many years did he exist?
Right. It's a prime example. So, but we can have, I can tell you 1,001 Ron Jeremy stories.
Everyone's got them.
Right, everyone's got one. So, but in regards to him, my whole approach was, let me just keep my distance. And I don't want to be involved with their relationship. We haven't been together. I wish them all the best. It's not a big issue. One of the issues, she was hosting the Avians. I was at the Avian booth talking to my fans. He got into it with me at the booth in an attempt to get me kicked out of the convention. So that was one of the first instances. And my approach was, okay, let me just keep my distance. Then there was the XBiz Awards, where she was there with him, I was there with my people. He's talking shit, he's throwing ice at me. I'm like, okay, I'll let that go. And this is all happening over like a 1.5 year, 2 year period. And then the incident that everybody talks about that came up was the big fight at Sophie D's birthday party. At this time, I have my agency, and there was a model at the agency that I had been dating personally. We had a great relationship. We spent Christmases together. He was texting that model during Christmas, during New Year's, during New Year's Eve. I want to fuck you, and he had just had a kid with her. So I had to swallow that jagged pill. Here's this dude who is the baby father of my ex-girlfriend, who has consistently tried to fuck women in my personal life or women in my business circle. And now he is making a straight beeline for the woman that I am dating currently. As a man, I'm going to repeat that. The baby father of your ex-girlfriend is actively trying to fuck your current girlfriend.
Maybe he had in his mind, it's like, well, I stole one girl, I can steal another.
I don't know what his thought process was. But, and here's the thing. I never confronted him. I never tried to make it an issue. Like, I'm going to fuck you up. I was like, okay, I'm just going to.
Why did you not confront him on that?
Because I'm old school like that. I'm old school in the sense of, let's have a conversation. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and catch you at an award show and try to fight you, some shit. That's stupid. Fucks up my reputation, and it makes me look crazy.
Right.
It makes me look like every fucking lie that people have said about T-Real does drugs and he be selling crack to these bitches and he keep you in his house and keep you locked up and all these crazy ass rumors I've heard people say about me. If I get into a fight with my ex-girlfriend's baby daddy, if I see him in a spike and just snuff him in the face, I'm in the wrong. So I was like, there's gonna be a time and I have to have proof. So I kept everything. Every piece of, hey T, I sent this model to a go-see, he was there and he fingered her, okay? Wrote it down, got the information. Hey T, we were at this party and he got my number and wrote it down. I had at the time I had cell phones for my models and it was on the same plan. So I would give her, like, a girl would come into town. She stayed at my model house. I would give her a phone, like, keep this phone. We can communicate. I would go to the phone bills for like 4 or 5 different models, and it was all communications with him. He met him on set. Hey, what's up, girl? And I would just have to fucking eat that shit. Like, okay, I can't go to production companies. I've already gone to his bosses and told him, like, yo, several models have told me that I've sent them on go-sees to your company, and Mind Freak has done these things to them. And I'm telling you because if this continues, I will not be able to send models to them because they're uncomfortable or these things happen. They're not happy about it. Like, I need to be able to approach it. Fucking crickets. He did not a fucking thing. Okay, fine. So now Sophie D's birthday comes up. Known Sophie D since day one. We've been friends, the whole nine. She invites me to the party. So we have a table there. The agency has a table. And I sent some models there earlier, and I pulled up with some models and my security. So And the club was a club that I had been to a lot, so I knew the security guys there as well. So go to the club, walk in, hey, what's up? So some other security guy, DJ, hey, what's up, T? I see Tori. I didn't realize she was going to be there with him. So I did my head nod, kept it pushing. And at this point, like a lot of snake dudes, he's thinking, I did this to T. He hasn't done shit. So he's
playing the long game.
He's playing the long game. Right. So he says, I want to talk to you at the party. And I know what he's trying to sucker me into some bullshit. So I'm like, let me go ahead. And if anybody knows me, I usually wear a shirt and tie when I'm out. And I took my tie. If you see me take my security guys know. He takes his tie off, something's going to go down. So I said,
you can't give him a handle.
No, fuck no. So took my tie off. He said, man, look, I just want to talk to you. He gives me the whole, punk motherfucker speech. Hey, man, I just want to talk to you real quick. Like, can we just come over here and have a man-to-man real quick? And I'm like, okay. So we go to this corner of the club. I sit down with Mind Freak, and he gives me the speech. Hey, man, I know you and I ain't been on the same page, and, I think this industry is big enough for both of us to exist, as black men, all that bullshit, And he talks for 2 minutes straight. And then he stops, and I say, stop, look here. I know who you've been, verbatim. I know who you've been fucking. I know about all your allegations, about the sexual assault stuff. All I'm asking you to do is stay the fuck away from me and my models. That's it. I don't care what y'all have. Y'all relationship is y'all shit. Y'all got kids together. Whatever y'all got going on is y'all's business. Don't fuck with my business and don't fuck with my world. That's it. I'm done. At this point, this is the beginning of the fucking party. I am biting my tongue to not do anything violent. So I get up and I stand up looking at him and I say, we're done. I don't want to see you again. I don't want to talk to you again. We should, if it goes beyond this, we're going to have a problem. I'm done. So I get up. I walk back over to my table. I say to my models, I'm leaving. I don't feel comfortable here. I'm going to go home. I look at my security. I do this. We mean, go get the car. Let's wrap it up. I'm heading out. And they're like, we just got here, man. Let's go. Now, this is what I did wrong. And I will admit this. Now I can admit it. Tori was sitting down next to some of my models. So I said bye to the models that I had driven there. Because I said, I'm going to leave out. So you guys just leave the limo when you guys leave out. And I reached over and I said, tell your baby daddy to please stop fucking my models. That's it. All I said. I shouldn't have said that. I will admit.
I mean, you just threw fucking fire on gas.
Yeah, but I was like, please tell your baby daddy, stop fucking my models. And I turned around to leave. As I turned around to leave, and this is all documented by the cameras and by the photographers in the club. I turned around. She threw a drink at me. So as I'm turning, I see the drink fly over my head. And as I'm turning back to leave from the area, he's right in front of me. So my head goes fast. I'm like, okay, he saw me talk to her. She threw the drink. He about to hit me. It's not happening. So I hit him first. And if you know anything about me, I know how to fight. I've been this size since I was 16. Krav Maga, judo, taekwondo. I'm pretty good with my hands. And I'm fucking fast. So I hit him. He threw a punch. I caught that punch. I threw him over my shoulder into the glass table, which is how he cut his arm. And I started choking. And my goal was to just knock him out and then get out of the situation. But once I started to choke him, the club security saw me choking this guy. And then my security ran back over. So the club security rushed me. And then my security was trying to get to me, but they held him back. So I'm on the floor with these guys. The club security's on top of me. She got up and she punched me in the face. Then she pulled back. Then he came over. He punched me in the face. Now I'm on the floor with these guys holding me down, right? So then when he punched me, they let me up. And when I got up, I got into a stance and I threw a kick. And then when I threw the kick, by that time, my security had saw me. It was like, I'm about to fuck everybody up. He knows how skilled I am. So he grabbed me and was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, go, let's just hit you out.
It's crazy to me that your security wasn't with you when this altercation started?
Well, again, where I made a mistake, my second mistake was telling him to fall back. Because when he walked up to me and he kind of looked at me like, do you want to talk to this dude? I was like, I got it. My approach is let me just have this bullshit conversation with him and say, and then, because my thought process is I'm going to say this, be done, and I'm going to leave. And hopefully he'll understand I haven't narked on you with certain people. I haven't called your girl up, This whole year, I've let you do what you do. You were texting my girlfriend, talking about you wanted to fuck her, while lying in bed with my ex-girlfriend after you guys had a baby together. Like Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve. Like times you supposed to be with your family, you texting my girl. So as a man, I had to swallow that fucking jagged pill and just let that shit go. Because again, the girl I was with, God bless her, she was loyal. She understood what the fuck was going on. She knew the bullshit. She was with the shits and she was supportive of me. So I was secure enough in my own manhood and my new relationship. I didn't give a fuck about what they were doing. But again, once I got assaulted, it was different. So I get out the club. I call my lawyer. Hey, just so you know, just got into a fight in this club. It's already, there's TMZ photographers in the club. They already got the pictures. They got the video. I know it's going to go out there. This is going to be a thing. So what do I need to do? My lawyer's
get ahead of this.
Get ahead of it. He's like, are you okay? I said, well, she punched me in the face and my lip is split. You know, I got scuffed up a little bit, but I'm okay. He's like, well, come into the office. Literally, he said, come to my office right now. I went to his office. He took some pictures of me. He said, okay, well, let me get your statement. He had my statement ready. Like, he was on it. Like, shout out to Charles. He's the best.
I'm amazed he didn't tell you to go to the hospital.
No, he did. Because he was like, because even if it's not, he's like, well, he did ask me. He's like, do you want to go to the hospital? I was like, no, not really. He's like, because if we have a hospital records, you being injured, we can take a civil suit against her. And I was like, I don't even want that. It's like, I just want to make sure that I'm okay. Like,
see, in my mind, it's like, no, go get that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's better to have it and not need it than need it not have it.
You're right. And hindsight 2020, I should have. So he was like, well, we got to file a restraining order against her and him. Because the biggest thing is that you're going to be in environments they might want to retaliate. So we had to get and it's crazy because we had the video and the pictures of her specifically hitting me. They gave me a restraining order against her. So I couldn't be around Tori for 3 years. And I wanted it that way. I was like, I want to be as much distance between her. Because again, I had nothing but love for her. I cared about this person. I was going to marry this person. I felt like this person was very important in my life. And I want to see her do well. Because she with this dude, that's their business now. But I can't allow this person to stop my career and attack my models and do other things that are damaging to my reputation. So I let it go from there. And that was, from my perspective, the downward spiral of where they were at. This is all documented about the situation that she put out there about how abusive he was to her, and their arrest is well documented on TMZ of what happened with them. That, again, all that shit has nothing to do with me. And again, went on with my career as an agent, as a producer, as an actor. Again, I have nothing but love for her and hope she's doing well and hope she's in a good space. But that's my story. That's what I went through. I went through the trauma of being with somebody and loving them and breaking up and then having their new partner try to destroy what I worked so hard for and destroy relationships with people who I tremendously cared about and had to swallow that jagged pill.
That's fucking rough.
Yeah, it was very rough. It was very rough. And it was the issue with me that was difficult is that I had already had trauma like that from my past of me being with somebody in my teens and me being assaulted by a gang and almost killed. So it was the parallel of I keep being with these women that I care about, and then these tragic assaults keep happening because of the women I'm with. I don't want to be with anybody. I don't trust anybody. I don't want to love anybody because there's this fear of these things happening.
Do you still feel that way to this day?
To an extent. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I go to therapy. I process certain things. I have to understand that. I mean, we make a joke about it. It's like when you date bad bitches, you got to be prepared for bad bitch shit, right? So
yeah.
I like high value women. I like attractive women. I like women who have their shit together. I mean, again, I'm not I'm not bragging or poshing. I date celebrities. I date girls who are high value. So there's a lot of shit that goes along with that. You're gonna have motherfuckers that's gonna try to break you up or fuck with you or fight with you or some shit.
Yeah,
so,
dudes just try you because they think they can.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So again, I'm with the shits. You know, I got registered firearm. I have a concealed weapons carry. You know, I try to stay out the way for the most part. If some shit goes down, I'm ready for it. But I don't want to even put myself in those situations. And I tell the girls that too. So let's see when the girls, likes that drama or she's looking for that, I subtract myself from the equation.
As you should.
Facts. Exactly. So that was, and again, it's what's sad about that. One of the things that's sad about that situation is that I really cared about her. And I wish that we could have remained friends. And I wish that the trauma that they went through, she didn't have to do that. I mean, she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve from her own words. He choked her out when she was holding their baby type shit. Like, that's to hear my ex-girlfriend say that. Like somebody says, because again, fans are sending me this information every time. When she was going through all that, they were sending that to my DMs. I'm like, I don't want to see this shit.
Well, yeah, because like if you love somebody, it's hard not to be like, I'm about to be violent over this.
Yo. I mean, there's still a piece of me that's like, yo, I could make some calls and take care of some things for you, but again, that's their life. And again, I don't know where she is now. I hope that where she is in her life. I mean, I hope she's happy and I hope that her and her kids are doing well. And again, I have no ill feelings about her. And I'm more sad at that situation than anything else. So, and for him, again, I knew he was a piece of shit when they first started dating. Like that was nothing. You can be an asshole and piece of shit, just stay on that side of the court. It don't bother me. I don't give a fuck. Once it starts affecting me, that's when it becomes problematic.
When he starts interjecting that shit into your life.
Exactly. So, and again, the industry knows these things. I'm not attacking him because I got some type of chip on my shoulder. This shit is, you guys know about it. You guys know about, how things were at Archangel, or how things were with Mind Freak. These things are kind of known from models who said that these are their experience of what he did to them, and that's their story. That's not my time to be telling their story, but that it's been said. So, my heart goes out to them, and I hope that they're okay and they've been able to move past their own individual traumas. And again, my focus is on my life and my company and other things I got going on.
So what is going on right now? You said you're working on some movies.
Yeah, I got some great stuff. I have my horror film, Crack House of the Dead, should be out by the end of the year. I got another movie I just directed called Beverly Hills Massacre. I had actually started producing some comedy shows forever ago. Some great comics, Jay Davis and Adam Hunter, a couple of guys. And I met a bunch of comics and I started writing. There's no way I was getting money as I was writing for some comics. I was basically ghostwriting for not them specifically, but for some other comics. And I started doing some shows over the last kind of 5 or 6 years. In Funny Bone, Cleveland, a couple other places. So I've gotten back into the swing of things after COVID, which has been nice. And what's interesting about my comedy is I don't even bring up the adult stuff. Like I just tell general stories. I wanted to purposely make comedy harder for myself by not going to like, hey, I got my dick sucked last night. Like all my stuff is completely off topic and, more storytelling type as well. So,
plus also talking about getting your dick sucked might not endear you to other comics.
Right. Exactly.
Like other comics are like, I ain't seen a pussy in fucking.
Right. Well, and no disrespect to any of the porn star comics. There's some great porn star comics out there, but it's like every porn star comic starts off with, so I do porn and and that becomes the base of the joke. And kind of once you, as the stigma of being in the industry, once you say I do porn, that's what everybody thinks about. So
100%.
My conversations are more about, the environment I grew up in and what it was like, being in Cleveland at the time and, things that are going on in lives and just life experience things. And, I have a nice little minor fan base and I make some money off my shows and I'm going to be putting together some more shows as well. So I'm excited about it.
Hell yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like, especially porn. It's so wild that like people treat it like this is what defines you. Like you do porn and like, this is what other fucking job in this world is like, oh, this is purely what defines you.
Right. Well, and the way I always looked at it is like, you're an actor.
Yeah.
Like I've I've done some really, if we're just talking about the adult industry stuff, I've done some roles that are ridiculous. I was in the fucking the Brady Bunch parody. You know, I was in fucking not the Cosby's Triple X. Like I'm acting in some of the most ridiculous scenarios. I'm not a fucking pizza boy. I'm not a fucking doctor. Like it all leads up to the sexual part. I'm acting. It's a joke. And I've done some harder stuff for, some harder companies, but again, I'm acting. I know how to cut my hand. So it's like I'm choking you and I'm not really doing it. Or, cut my hand so it's loud, but it's not like I'm acting on just as a sexual actor. And then on the mainstream side of stuff, yeah, I've done, some really cool movies. That's great opportunities. The movie I did Pleasure was in Sundance, and I was able to do some great press for that. And I've been able to meet some great casting people and do some other things. So it's like I'm trying to do things in life that I enjoy, and I'm very fortunate that the things that I enjoy have made me money, and I've got a cool fan base on the adult side and the mainstream side. So I'm very fortunate in that sense.
Well, and that's what it's all about. It's all about the pursuit of happiness. None of us are making it out here alive.
No.
So why the fuck wouldn't you try to live the most enjoyable life you fucking can?
Exactly. And again, and it's, I've been very fortunate. I've had a great career in this business. Have I had some shitty times? Absolutely. Have there been some headaches? I'm responsible. And again, I've taken such a back seat to things that I know I'm responsible for bringing in Isaiah Maxwell or Anna Fox. I'm responsible for Janira. I'm responsible for coming up with the names of people and giving them guidance and helping with their careers. And I'm not one of those, oh, this is about me. You guys should da-da-da. I just do my job, do my background, get my little commission and move on. So I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. And I've definitely learned in this new day and age, I need to start singing my praises a little bit louder. Because maybe some people don't really know, definitely out of sight, out of mind type of business. And it's harder to be in people's sight nowadays.
Well, especially with so many more creators out there. Like, 10 years ago, there was like 20 dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, I mean, for 12 years, I was the performer behind the #1 interracial POV website online. There's Black, it's us. That was it. I helped create that site. I've been nominated for numerous awards. I've won Avian Awards. I've won ESPYs nominated. Night was nominated. I mean, my list of accolades goes on and on and on. There are hundreds of models in this business whose careers I've helped. Again, there's hundreds of models in this business who wouldn't even be here if not for me finding them, sitting them down, explaining how the business is, or have had longer careers. They've started with other agencies or other people or some suitcase pimp boyfriend or something. I'm like, look, this is how you do this. I hear people say, well, why do we need agents? Because you need somebody to kind of help you. Nobody, even OnlyFans girls who are making stupid money, have a team behind them. Even if you're doing OnlyFans stuff and you want to do the business side stuff, it's a way to maximize your attention. You don't know who production companies are. You know who's real. You know how you getting paid. Where's the production at? Who's this person shot for? You need to have a team of people to help you make money. And if they're helping you make money, pay them a commission. It's so simple.
Definitely. I've talked about this multiple times on here. There is no porno 101. And people fucking come in and they get overwhelmed. They're spending money on fucking purses and cars and dumb shit. And it's just like, girl, how are you not paying your fucking rent?
Yo, let me get to that part. Just how do you perform? Yeah. How many girls don't know how to perform on their period? How many girls like, okay, I'm on set now. What do I do? Fucking at home is completely different than fucking in an actual video.
100%.
Look into the camera. Learn how to. I mean, I've sat girls down and say, watch this. And that's something got me angry about other girls. I was watching a podcast of a girl who I got into the business. And I love how some people just have selective hearing or selective memory. It's like, well, I wasn't told what I was doing. I was like, yes, you were. We have emails. Like, you were told what you were doing. You were showed the website. You were spoken to about what the rate was. We flew you out. We got you tested. We put you in a hotel. All of those things happen. You met the director. We spoke about it. We did a walkthrough rehearsal before we actually had sex. And then we started cameras. After a whole conversation and speech about the usuals of, hi, my name is T. Real. It's nice to meet you. We're having sex today. Is there anything specifically I need to know that you don't like during sex? Do you have any fresh tattoos or piercings over the last 2 or 3 weeks? Because I don't want to make you susceptible to hepatitis C. Is your hair really extension? So I don't want to fucking pull your hair and make sure your fucking track falls out. Are your fingernails really acrylic? Because I don't want to run the risk of one of your fingernails breaking off during the scene. Do you have any mobility issues? I mean, you can't move left or right, up or down, because I don't want to pull you to a specific portion. You can't do. There's a whole.
Is your hip fucked?
Yeah, there's a whole fucking speech that I've been giving for damn near 20 years for models I've worked with and models I've brought on to the agency in regards to, do you want to do this? You know, are you worried about your boyfriend, your parents finding out? They're probably going to find out.
They're definitely going to find out.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's tiers to it. So there's pro companies you've probably heard of, like Playboy, Penthouse, and Hustler. There's pro amateur companies like Reality Kings, Brazzers, Mofos. They shoot pros and amateurs. And there's about 17 or 18 straight amateur companies that, unless you're really into niche stuff, you could do 1 or 2 scenes and somebody really not know. It's a possibility, but yeah, they're probably going to find out. But if your very first scene is with Black, motherfuckers are going to know. If your very first scene is with Brazzers or Reality Kings, if your first scene is for footjobs.com, maybe not. I mean, but you have to have these tangible conversations with people so they can make an informed decision if this is what they want to fucking do.
I wholly agree. See, I go by the mindset of like, even if you're shooting for like a pro-am site.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, some people, I mean, they're going to find out. But in the sense of, I want to be a star versus I want to be a performer. Like, I've had models say, look, I laughed about this last week. Girl said, I want to make 10 grand, get my boyfriend out of jail, and I'm done. Okay, cool. I mean, well, she might. I mean, there's a possibility.
I mean, maybe if the dude is a piece of shit and it was like,
well, true. I mean, well, she could make 10 grand.
Oh, she'll make
she'll make 10 grand. There's not a guarantee she'll be able to get him out of jail.
but I'm just saying, like, even once she gets him out of jail, the likelihood of her being, if she needs that fast money that bad, the fact that she's been able to make it, she's probably not going to walk away from it unless that dude is like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, true. I mean, there's definitely, you know, and again, I as a veteran, so to speak, and I as somebody who's been in this business and been an agent, I try to weed those people out before again, I'm not broke. If you don't do a scene, I'm not losing my house. I'm not losing my car. I want you to work and be happy and have a great career and us to make money together. But if not, then this is not the business for you.
I wholeheartedly agree. Because every once in a while I'll get civilian friends who are like, oh, hey, I want to get in for what they think is fast money. Mm-hmm. And I do everything in my power to try to talk them out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is not the business for you. If it's all about fast money, there's other ways to make legally make fast money as opposed to doing some other shit. This is not the business for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have done everything in this business. I've been a director. I've been a driver. I've been talent. I've been an agent. I've been a manager. Like, I tell my story about when I was a performer in the beginning. Before there was Uber and all these other things, I remember these girls would pay me just to drive them to parties because that was a big thing. They would go out to Hollywood, get fucked up, and then be like, we need to get home. So we just called T-Real. It's like, all right. So I would just be home playing, Grand Theft Auto and get a call like, hey, come pick us up. I'm like, all right, cool. One day I pick these girls up and they're like in the hood some fucking place. And they hop in the car and they're laughing and giggling and shit. I'm like, what's so funny? And like, yeah, we got that motherfucker. I'm like, you got what from this motherfucker? It's like, oh, well, these dudes, these rappers, they invited us out to come, hang out with them. And they got all fucked up and passed out. So we just left. We came and got you. And she pulls out this chain from her fucking purse. And it was a Rough Riders chain.
Oh, God.
And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, once they find out that chain is missing, they're going to know it's you. And I don't know who this rapper is, but it's Rough Riders. It's a biker gang. There's a plethora of biker dudes that are going to find out I picked you up. We are taking that fucking chain back.
Plus, how are you going to fence that?
Exactly, right? Like,
where the fuck do you think you're selling that?
Where are you selling a fucking platinum diamond out Rough Riders chain? What is wrong with you? So I drove back and I told them to wait in the car. It's a true story. Drove back and I got buzzed back into the studio. They're like, well, who is it? I was like, hey, it's me. I just picked these girls up. I need to use the bathroom. Can I just come in real quick? It's like, yes, they buzzed me back in. And it's a bunch of dudes in the lobby smoking weed. I'm like, where's the bathroom? It's like, it's back by, where the booths are. So I'm walking in the back. I'm just trying to find a place I can just leave it, right? So I figured I just leave in the studio. If I just leave in the studio, no. So I open the door real slowly and I walk in. It's pitch black dark. And there's a couch, there's the microphones, and then there's, like how the padding is, how it is here. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take it out of my pocket and leave it on the couch. I flip this, I leave it at the same time. I'm pulling the chain out, I turn the light switch on, and fucking DMX is sleeping on the fucking floor of the studio. And I'm like, these bitches stole DMX's fucking chain. So I'm like a fucking cartoon. Like I'm trying to like slowly put the chain back and not wake DMX up and put it on the fucking couch and then like turn the light off and like creep back out so nobody knows I was fucking in there. Like it was fucking insane. But if he would
DMX is not the one.
Yeah, if DMX would have woke up and realized that these fucking stupid porno girls stole his fucking chain, or would have woke up and saw me holding the chain thinking that I just stole it, man, shit like that would happen all the fucking time when I first got into the business. So, but the point I'm trying to make is I've had those experiences that have taught me how to maneuver to not have those experiences.
Those women would have been walking.
Oh my God. It would kill all of us. We would all be dead.
I would have returned the chain and been like, y'all on foot.
Basically. Like, look here. I would have literally just told them up front, like, look, I picked these girls up, they stole your chain, I'm just dropping it back off. We done. Hope we're good. I'm out. Girls got the car, done.
Yeah, because fucking DMX, the unhinged shit DMX did in the course of his life.
Oh my God. Rest in peace, DMX.
Right. Not speaking ill of the dead, but there's a lot of record of unhinged shit.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He would have not been happy to wake up and find out that these chicks had stolen his fucking chain. And that me, the porno dude, has it in his possession. No, that would have not been the move right there.
No, that would have.
RIP to DMX. I got tons of stories like that. Prince and Mike Tyson, all type of shit. I mean, I've met a lot of people. And again, going to your point of, being in this industry, like I've been to Diddy parties. I've been in those circles and I see how that life is and how those things are.
I should admit Diddy parties these days.
Again, at the time, they were fun parties. I mean, who doesn't want to go to a dope ass sex party? Like, it's just, and I hate to admit to you guys, there's other parties that are not Diddy parties that are even fucking worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
That are fucking worse. It's just that, and that are just straight Hollywood parties that, BDSM stuff and some freaky stuff happens with people that you would not think do those type of things. And I'll, maybe write a book or come on the podcast again and tell those stories. But I mean, the issue is not so much that those things happen in like this shady underground world. The issue is that sometimes people don't want to be involved in that and they become involved in it for whatever reason. Sometimes they become involved in those situations because they want to further their careers. Sometimes they're tricked in those situations. Sometimes they are, not in the best mind frame because they're using drugs or they're drinking or doing certain things or they have just certain traumas. So,
and sometimes it just sounds like fun and they do it for the bit.
So that too, do it for the bit. And again, that's the flip side of that coin. Like I enjoyed those parties. I mean, I learned, I hate to admit this from those situations, but prime example, one of my moms was having a birthday party, right? And her birthday and my birthday are very close to each other. So I said to her at the time, she asked me, what do you want to do for your birthday, T? And I said, I'll have an orgy. That's what I want to do. I'll have an orgy. And she said, okay, cool. Can we do a party and just do an orgy back at your place? I was like, yeah. So we invited a bunch of people, a bunch of industry folks out, some regular people. And I told everybody, we met at my house and I had a limo and I had a Porsche. I said, okay, this is the deal. We are going to go to this club and have a party. We've got tables, we've got bottles, we got a fucking cake. It's dope. We're gonna have a good time tonight. But at midnight, at 1:30, we're gonna come back here and have an orgy. If you do not want to come, if you do not want to be a part of the orgy, don't come. I'm saying that right now. While it's 30 of us, okay? If you do not want to come back, don't come back if you're not fucking. Okay, cool, done. All right. Have a good time at the party, we kicking it, it's pictures, We almost time to go. Hey, it's almost 1:30. We're leaving out. Just real quick. We're going to go back to my house. If you don't want to have the orgy, don't come back to my house. We cool? Got that? Done. So just learning to put that up front. So yeah, we went from like 30 people to like 7 people. So, but those 7 people who came back had a great time fucking each other. I mean, but I learned you have to be upfront about that. No, and it's nothing pushy. It's nothing, no creepy about it. Just, hey, you cool with having, are you cool with fucking? If you're not cool with fucking, it's fine. But we are going back to go fuck.
I really feel like you should put that on the invite because it would have been really awkward if someone was down to fuck and didn't shave their fucking balls or some shit.
Well, true. Well,
you got to put that shit on the invite. You can't wait till because it would be really awkward. Like, oh man, I'm totally down. My dick is hairy as shit.
Hey, well, you got enough time to go get yourself, trimmed up and then come to the house. So,
what, you gonna break off the party early to go shave your balls real quick?
I've done it. I've done a lot to get ready for. Let me tell you. I was on my way. I was going to fly. This is back when I was dating this girl. So there was this girl I was dating. She was a Victoria's Secret model. Me and her had gotten really close. But again, she's bipolar. She's doing a lot of drugs. I had already, and what she would do is she would go do promo stuff for them. And then they would fly her into LA and she would do a bunch of promo stuff. And she would say, remember the Standard in
WeHo?
No, the Standard on Sunset.
Yeah, that's WeHo.
Yeah, WeHo. Okay, right. So they would get her room at the Standard. And then she would like kind of hang out in Beverly Hills and this shit. But I was on my way to a flight and she called me and said, hey, I'm in LA. What are you doing? I was like, bitch, I'm going to the airport. She was like, would you stay for me? Like, I want to see you. I'm like, fuck. So I and this is before I had fucking pulled over and like had to go into a Starbucks and get my laptop out and like cancel my flight to try to get that ticket and then turn around and drive back down the fucking, I was like, if you don't know LA, logistically of LA, the airport is fucking far. So, especially from Beverly Hills. So I'm like, literally like maybe 2 or 3 exits away from LAX. And I pull over to go to a Starbucks so I can get their Wi-Fi to cancel my fucking flight.
So you're like in fucking Culver City off the 405 or something?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, and in my defense, this was the beginning of our relationship. So we just had been kicking.
The things you do for new pussy.
I know, right. Well, exactly. Because it gets worse. Because that we had some great times together. But because of her mental illness and because of her drug use, she got very dependent upon me. And codependent upon me. And one of those nights at the Standard, I would hang out with her and I would leave. And she wouldn't let me leave. She locked the door and she was crying and she started throwing things and it got really bad. And unfortunately, she passed away and God rest her soul. But
not that night, right?
Not that night. That was a tail end of that breakup of like you can't like. But part of her trauma was, and I'm not throwing there's a lot of A-list Hollywood guys that she was dating that was in those circles that would love bomb her and make her feel like she was special and she was important. And then once they got done fucking her, they would just kind of like back her away. And my whole thing was like, I'm already getting sex. Let's have sex, but let's kick it. Like, let's just enjoy our time together. So, we went to like Knoxbury Farm one day. Like, she was like, and people are coming like, is that like, what are you doing here? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, she's here like with me and we just on rides, just hanging out. And she just never done that before.
She never got a chance to just be a person.
Yeah, exactly. Be a person. So, and again, and going back in therapy, I unfortunately have had a pattern of dating women like that. So it's trying to recognize what parts within myself open myself up to women who are that damaged or that vulnerable.
Because they're fun.
They are, and they're fucking hot.
Right.
They're usually really fucking hot.
I don't know what it says about me at time, but like, it's like, I end up dating some very attractive, very damaged women. And it's just like, something in the back of my head goes, oh, well, if this girl actually had her shit together, why would she want to be here?
No, because you're like me. You're confident and you're cool, and it's not that big of a deal to you. Like, it's not like, oh my God, you're the baddest bitch I've ever been around. It's like, all right, yeah, you dope. Like, but again, I don't know how your swag is, but I have decades of being with bad bitches. Like, I've been rejected by chicks. Hey, let me get your number. Fuck you talking about, short ass motherfucker. Okay, all right, done. Next. Hey, what's up? Let me get your phone number. You call it up and it's like the local pizza fuckeria. Right. Or hey, what's up? I think you're cute. Can you get your phone number? And it's like, I don't talk to dudes. Like, okay, done. And then you do that. I mean, and it hurts. That rejection is fucking brutal. But you built up that thick skin. You master your game. Okay, hey, what's your name? Where you from? Like, what's up, sweetheart? Like, I like your shoes. Where'd you get those from? Okay, cool. Like, oh, like, I might give you a compliment and just walk away. Hey, I like your hair. You're pretty. Oh, thank you. And then just ghost.
How about your day?
It's like, wow. Like, I'm expecting more of a,
Well, and like, I'm confident, but it's also like, I recognize that my lifestyle choices aren't playing very well. They're not for like someone who is
that's
traditionally like successful in life. That's why it's just like, oh, you're a little crazy. Okay, cool. This is why this makes sense. Because if you're like a stunning lawyer working at some Fortune 500 company, you're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Well,
our lifestyles don't mesh.
Yeah, true. There's definitely some cross blending. This doesn't always happen, because of where we are and what we do and how we do it. And but life is.
I don't hate that. I'm not.
Me neither.
I'm not upset about that.
I get it.
I do put up some barriers. I do put up some walls.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I went on a date with a girl who like had a really good relationship with her parents, and like my mom's my best friend, and I was like, this is weird. I'm out.
Yep, get it. I want a girl who doesn't have parents at all.
Like, this is a bigger red flag than like you just being a shit show.
Hey, I mean, you know what works for you. Know what works for you, and then move away from there. So I've again, not that I'm some Casanova or anything like that, but I mean, I've dated and been with a lot of women. I've had some great, amazing experiences, and I've had some fucking horrible ones as well. And I can admit sometimes that's part of my own. It's like I had a girl I was talking to recently that we dated and we broke up and we were just having a conversation, and I would take her out with me. Like when we go to clubs or stuff, we would go out and hang out, and then a lot of times, especially in Hollywood, I would take her to places where I already knew people. So I would, go up and I would issue, hey, this is so and so, we're dating, and then we broke up. And she said, well, you would always take me out and then you would just leave me alone. I was like, she said, I thought you didn't like me or want to be with me because you would take me out and you would just leave me alone. I was like, I would take you out.
But I took you out.
That was my thought process. My thought process was like, I wanted you to be with me in my environment. So I wanted you to see my friends, and I wanted you to also have these experiences with me, not be home and not.
But also, just for me, I need someone who understands, like, this is also work.
That too.
As much as this is a social environment, and like, these are all my friends, this is also part of the job.
People don't understand that, especially in Hollywood, this is work. Like going out, like, okay, I have to get dressed, look attractive, go to this red carpet or this party, this event, because all of the directors I know are here, or all of the casting agents I know are here, or this other filmmaker who I met is, hey, I haven't seen, what are you working on? What's going on? Like that's what leads to more work. And it mostly happens at nightclubs, bars, Topgolf,
right. Social events.
Like social events, right.
Because the industry is so competitive, like entertainment in general, not just porn.
Yeah.
Entertainment in general is so competitive. Of course, some gatekeeper is going to sign off on a guy he likes.
Yeah, true.
Like, if you and I have the exact same credentials, and it's like, oh, but I know T, I'm going to sign off on T.
Yeah, and also, there's even, let's just talk about the adult industry for a minute. Dozens of relationships I've met or made just by being in events.
Yeah.
I mean, like Industry by Rick. I'm in line for something, and they let me in, and they're like, is that guy with you? I'm like, yeah, he's with me. I didn't know him. He's just like a cool guy. And he's like, you just see people in certain places.
We booked this podcast because we were at an event.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's networking.
Yeah.
Right. Like I've seen you 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I've never been on set. We've never worked together.
No.
We've never. I couldn't tell you like where I've seen you outside of something else, but I know I've seen you. I know that you're in the industry. Oh, you got a park. This is dope. Okay, well, how can I be a part of this and help you do your thing?
Yeah.
How can I? Oh, let me bring you some bourbon. Let me show you. I'm
easy like that.
Oh, well, true, but to the point of the podcast, like, again, and not knocking some of your guests, but some of them, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know. They have not had enough life experience to say, these things have happened to me and I've learned from this and I want you to learn from this. I want you to hear my story and be aware of how to talk to women, or hear my story and know these red flags, or maybe you've heard something about me and they're like, oh, that now makes sense.
Well, for me, the reason I book some of these people that may not be as well known is I don't want to rehash.
Like no, not to knock those people. I'm saying in the sense of they have to learn what this is.
Oh yeah,
this isn't like, from you and I have a good rapport. You've allowed
exactly.
me to talk. I can tell a story. But if I'm some 20-year-old girl who just got into the industry, this is your chance to tell your story.
100%.
This is your chance to let people know about you as a person, or what your ideas are, your beliefs are, or how you come up with your name.
See, I don't ask that shit. I never.
But that's something that gives me some insight. Like, oh well, if you're telling me that you came up with your name because your boyfriend just came up with it, then that's different than I read this book and this character influenced me to be.
Well, the reason I avoid that is because almost every other media outlet in the industry asks that shit.
Well, in my own personal opinion, they don't ask it here. There's not. What's interesting about this industry is that there are not a lot of real podcast interviews that we get to know, like, how many dicks you sucked. It's a lot of that bullshit.
100%.
Or it's a lot. Okay. Or it's a lot of,
what's your favorite position? Who do you want to work with?
That, or it's a lot of, alpha male dudes sitting with a bunch of girls telling them how shitty they are for being sex workers. When the reality of it is, there's nothing shitty about those girls for being sex workers. What's shitty is you attacking them for them choosing their line of work.
No. And it's not even just attacking them, exploiting them so you have a business.
Absolutely. Fuck you. I have turned down so many podcasts. I'm like, if I go on these guys' show or this guy's show, we're gonna get into a fight. Because I'm gonna tell them how shitty they are. They're bringing me on because they're thinking I'm one of the bros. I'm like, yeah, man. So, and
I'm get to fuck pussy.
Yeah, I was all about these bitches, man. No, first of all, these women, these young ladies who have made a life decision, you don't know what their situation is, whether good or bad. They're like, yo, I went to school, I got a degree, I realized the job market shit, and I can now do something that I enjoy to maximize that. And if a man doesn't see this as a means to an end or as a stepping stone in my life, fuck that dude.
Right.
If you're not secure enough as a dude to realize that, okay, she's probably 19, 20, 21, 30, whatever case may be, and she's probably gonna live till, if she's lucky, in her fucking 80s. This is a stepping stone in her life. And if you can't handle it, she fucked a bunch of dudes, you got a fucking problem.
100%. Well, even if you're just fucking civilians.
Yo!
Every girl you have had sex with has fucked someone before you, and she is probably going to fuck someone after you. It's not Everest. You're not planting a fucking flag. This is not an accomplishment.
Somebody now.
Right.
So the flip side of that coin is, if your girl is not a sex worker and you guys, which almost never happens, have a fucking conversation about what your boundaries are in your relationship, what you feel are things that you are not comfortable with when it comes to cheating or and if you can't get on the same page, you shouldn't be dating.
I'll agree, but also to that fact, it's only cheating if you don't agree upon it.
Yeah, right, true, exactly. I'm more like, again, for me, and there's a progression of experience as well. When I was a teenager and my girlfriend fucked one of my homeboys, I was heartbroken. Well, when I was dating somebody recently and she fucked somebody I knew personally, I was hurt by that. Well, but to the point, when we were teenagers, we didn't have that conversation. And when I was an adult and I had that conversation and she crossed that boundary, I was like, I can't fuck with you.
And nor should you, because it's not the physical act that hurts. It is the violation of trust.
Exactly.
It's the violation of fucking trust.
Could not agree more.
Could
not agree more. It's like I've asked you specifically, these people are coming in town that are friends of mine from my past. And I'll be out for all of my guy friends I grew up with, very attractive, very charismatic. They can fight and they can fuck. That was just kind of how it was when I was coming up. Like, you had to have those type of attributes to hang with us. Except there's one guy. There's one guy in my squad who couldn't fight. Couldn't fight. And we call him Sleepy Sam because what he would do is he would get guys in sleeper holes. So, and I'll tell you that story too. But I mean, but to the point though, you know, a bunch of guys came, and I'm not going to get into the particulars of it, but they came in town. We were hanging out. She had sex with one of the guys. And I was like, that just showed me I can't fuck with you.
Right.
That is the end of our relationship.
And I tell people all the fucking time, if you cannot trust your partner, be out. Unless you have property or children with them. There's no need for couples therapy.
No.
If you don't trust them,
you cannot be with them.
Right, exactly. I don't know if you know this. I was a private investigator for a couple of years.
Oh no, wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
So like one of my guys was like, yo, I think my girl's cheating on me. Like, can you go pull surveillance? I'm like, no. Yep. He's like, I'm not gonna take your money. He's like, why not? I'm like, you have no property or children with this woman. Mm-hmm. You don't trust her. It doesn't matter what I find.
Doesn't matter.
You already don't trust her. Just be out.
Just be out.
Because what do you like? I find nothing, and you go, I don't believe that you just didn't find it. Or I find it, and you get your fucking thoughts confirmed.
Yeah.
And you're out anyways. Just be fucking out and save your money.
I mean, you're a good man for that. You were a good man for just being like, I ain't taking your money. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, just get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'll watch her bang 5 guys for 3 weeks straight and bring you the video so you can go on Cheaters or some bullshit.
Right? Like, no, this is my guy. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, so even better. Like, yo, you the homie. I don't want to see you hurt like that. So how about we don't do that?
Yeah, we don't do that. Just get the fuck out.
Yeah, you're a better man than I am. Better man than I am. Shit, that's fucking crazy. And again, it's amazing that I'm very fortunate that I've been in situations with a lot of women, and I can have conversations about, especially where I am now, of what my specific needs, wants, and desires are outside of sex. I'm more about intimacy. I'm more about like, yeah, we might have sex all day long, but do you know what I like to do for fun? Do you know what my favorite books are? Do you know what I like to eat? Those are the things that are important to me. I will consider marrying you if I can be around you without you getting on my nerves and you know enough about me to make me feel comfortable. And that's fucking hard to find.
I wholeheartedly agree. As an older dude, I've actually come to the realization, like, I'm sure I've talked about this on air, like, I'm not trying to date vegetarians.
Yeah, yo, I respect that. Yeah.
It's like,
you said something else about, it was like vegetarians and, oh my God. Yeah, you're right. It was dietary issues.
Yeah, like if you got dietary issues, like one of my big passions, like, is traveling the fucking world.
Fucking eating.
Right. I want to eat, and when I travel the world, I don't necessarily know what I'm eating. If you're gonna be fucking like, oh, well, I can't eat that, and like, no, I want to try the weird foods.
I'm all about good attitude. Like, God bless her, this girl I dated, and again, she was very sweet. But we spent a week in, where were we? We drove up the coast, and we went to, goddamn, I'm having a brain freeze. San Francisco. We went to San Francisco for a week. Some jazz clubs, hung out, and she had the worst attitude. She was just, I don't be here, and they're all grumpy. I was like, okay, well, this is the end of our relationship.
Right.
This is a great place to be, cultural, good stuff, and your attitude is shitty. Fuck this. I'll go by myself next time. Fuck that. So yeah, I mean, it's just, it's unfortunate. But again, if you don't know what works for you and aren't secure in asking and trying to get that, you get these guys like, well, fuck you, you do OnlyFans and I mean, that's the least of your problem, bro.
Right. I mean, oh my God, she's making money and can take care of herself financially.
I mean, yeah, and again, and here's the kicker. Even to that, I mean, there were times in my relationships, where I've dated women who've made way more money than I have, and it's been uncomfortable because you have to figure out as a man how to navigate those worlds of, okay, do you want to pay for this or do I pay for this? Or and that's hard to say. Or hey, I can't go to Ibiza next week. I can't. I don't have it like that. So unless you willing to pay for the private jet, or it's just not happening. And if you're okay with that, then keep me in your circle. If you're not okay with that, I don't mind subtracting myself from situations. And again, to the point, even with Tori, I think that power dynamic started to change too when she started making a lot of money, which in certain situations I wasn't comfortable with, but I also didn't know how to have that conversation at that time. So I think that could have definitely added on to some of our frictions and kind of how and why we broke up. But fast forward to years later of me understanding that in therapy and being able to have other relationships with women where I say, "Hey, are you okay with this?" I dated, you know, I dated. This is silly. I was dating Toasty from Flavor of Love at one point in time, and we were at some restaurant where they kept comping her all this food and didn't tell me that. So I assumed that, like, and we ate a bunch, like the drinks, because that was the whole thing. She, if you ever want to watch Flavor of Love back in the days, she was known as the girl who drank a lot. That was kind of like her.
Well, that's why she's
Toasty.
Toasty.
Yeah, Toasty, right? Toasty was her thing, right? So this specific restaurant gave her like unlimited drinks and all this free food and stuff. But in my head, I'm calculating like that. Whatever that big tequila was, like $2 a bottle, it's such and such, 742, whatever the fuck it was. I'm like, this is like $2,000 worth of fucking food. I need to have a conversation with somebody right now. I can put on my card, but I'm not really trying to. So yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to pay my rent for this meal.
Yo, for this, one, for this bullshit, and then two, for shit I didn't even fucking eat, I'm good on that. So
well, that's gotta be really frustrating as the guy who doesn't drink, like, when it's $1,000 in alcohol. And you're like, I'm not even partaking in this shit.
They brought out whatever that shit is like $5 a shot or whatever the fuck that shit is. Like, what is it? Well, I can't remember what the fuck the shit's called. You guys probably know what the fuck it is. Something 42, whatever the fuck it is.
There's a bottle of it hiding over there.
Yeah, one of those fucking things. But they brought out shots for like me, her, and then the two people behind us. It was like I was doing the math. That meal at the time was like $2,000 or some shit.
You're like, why am I buying shots for these fucking people behind us?
Yo, because they were like cheering us on. They're like, we want shots too. And they're like, all right. And they just brought a shot. I'm like,
I don't know them.
I don't know these people. Right. I'm with her. She and I are kicking it. So, but to the point of the conversation, I mean, it's hard for some men, especially in today's day and age, to come to the understanding that you may be dating a woman who's making more money than you. And you have to have a conversation with two people, one yourself on how you deal with it, and with her on how she deals with it.
See, for me, nothing makes me happier than when someone who makes more money than me, especially performers, are buying.
Hey, I get it. No,
not only am I out with the person who is so many people's object of affection.
Oh yeah, it's a great flex. Like, it's a great flex.
Your money is buying my dinner, motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm. It's a whole thing about making fun of simps and shit like that. Like, I'm like, yo, I get it. Like, if this person, again, I'm using OnlyFans and Loyal Fans and all those platforms as an example. You're paying for the interaction with that person that you probably wouldn't get,
right?
And to have a conversation or have a text or have a picture or something, like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I've been I was at a convention recently, and remember the Fall Guy, the old '80s show, the Fall Guy.
Oh yeah.
Fall Guy. Do you remember Heather Thomas?
Yeah,
Fall Guy. Yo, she was there.
Oh
right?
shit.
So I was at a mainstream convention, and Heather Thomas was there. And again, if you don't know who Heather Thomas is, Google her. She was like one of the it girls of the '80s, like gorgeous. She was who would she be? The equivalent of like a Kim Kardashian, I guess. Like not like the looks, but just like that popularity type. She was like a Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Right? She was like a Sydney Sweeney of the '80s. So blonde and tits, the whole nine. But the point I'm trying to make is she was there, and we're having a conversation, just challenging up. And she had a booth where she was selling her autographs. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for an autograph for that. And she would have given it to me for free. But the fact that she signed an autograph to me and I paid her for it, I was like, there's no difference between what I'm doing right now and what these OnlyFans guys are doing.
Right.
Like,
you're just not touching your dick.
Right. Under any other circumstances, I would have never met her. Under any other circumstances, we never would talk together. Under any other circumstances, she would never give me an autograph. So yeah, it's worth the $20 that she's probably gonna give to charity any fucking way. So,
or she's not. She fucking needs it.
Yeah, exactly. She ain't like she needs it. Get the fuck. She's okay. She's doing all right.
Right.
So, but for a guy who's a fan of, name them. I mean, from a high-end girl like fucking I mean, anybody who's
the thing about it is, like, it weirds me out to a bit when people have these imaginary parasocial relationships.
Well, yeah, well, that's just a mental illness thing.
Like, I literally got into a fight on someone with Twitter today where a performer said she was feeling sad and like being an asshole and just, this is someone I know in real life. I'm like, you should do some shrooms. Like, just like, and I got pages of tweets from one dude who's like, oh, doing psilocybin will lead to, heroin and cocaine. And I'm just like,
okay.
And
I mean,
well, I do it I fight with people for the
of course.
But after all that, it's just like, I'm doing this to save her. I'm like, and I just responded at that point. I just started responding with laughing emojis. He's like, someone being sad isn't laughing. I'm like, no, you misunderstood. I am laughing at you.
Right.
Please look at who's following each other here.
But again, that's a mental illness. There's, as we as men know, there's the savior complex, and there are these guys that think that. And again, that's the big issue with the Republican Party when it comes to the adult industry, is that there's this grand myth of, the girl who, either A, got kidnapped and thrown into a van, and now she's, doing porn and down this horrible, line of work, and she doesn't really want to. And then the reality of it is, there's the person who's made a decision to do this as a job, and they understand it, and they've had a great career in it, and this is how they pay for their bills, and they're okay with it. It's not like this
has provided upward mobility for them.
Exactly. Right. So, and again, if I had a nickel for every girl I've gotten or helped to get into this business, and now they own businesses outside of the game. It's like old hookers back in the game. Like back in the days, there were girls who were streetwalkers, and then they eventually started salons, or they're old pimps that now have car dealerships. Like this is a way to get into other legitimate businesses, and it's a means to an end. Or in some people, it's a career. Like I always say, it's a grand hustle. It's a career for some people. It's a grand hustle for me. Like I never thought I'd be in the business. I never thought I'd be in the business at all. Like I was like, all right, well,
same.
Yeah, got some opportunities. One thing led to another, and my girlfriend at the time was a playmate who had left the Playboy mansion and was involved in some illegal activity things, and I was desperately trying to get her out of that. I was like, yo, I'll do your websites. I'll record your stuff for you. Like I know where this is going. I've been there, seen that, got the t-shirt already. So, and I ended up performing with her, got some opportunities to work with her and some other people. We already had an open relationship. I was already tested. She was part of my entryway into getting into the business. And we came to that crossroads where I was like, look, I'm going to be doing this legitimate side of things. I can't be with you as you continue to do this illegal side of things, especially being the black guy in the room, because they're going to think I'm the one that's got you into the illegal side of things.
You're the one with the fucking feather hat.
Yo, right, exactly, right? And they think I'm fucking Chauncey Red, some bullshit, right? And again, I know there are some pimps who are legitimate good pimps out there. I don't knock what they do. They take care of their girls, and then there's some piece of shit fucking pimps as well. Fuck those guys. I just could never do pimp shit. I knew pimps. I understand the world and all that shit. My whole thing was, I just got out of college. My degree's in business and film. I know how to make movies. Let me do your website. Let me do stuff that can make you some money. That shit that you're doing over there with those Hollywood executives and those actors, that's your shit. And I need to separate myself as quickly as possible, because it's going to lead to you going to jail. And when the shit did hit the fan, as I told her it would, she says, as she was, in her situation, I should listen to you. It's like,
hindsight's 2020.
I told you, you'd be sitting in jail trying to beat this case and figure out this other things if you kept going in this route. And my heart goes out to her. I wish that it, we could have continued our relationship in the beginning of me being in the business without that split. So,
fortunately, it's an old tale.
It is. I've sung that song more times than I like to admit. And again, if I ever write a book, I've got stories galore, and that was definitely part of my entryway. God bless her.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I hate to do it to you.
Nah, it's all good.
We have to call this motherfucker.
I got it.
We are almost at 3 hours.
Yo, shit. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're like 2:45.
Yeah, you got a lot. You got a lot. So again, I want to thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Again, you guys can find me. My mainstream stuff is all Jason Made Films. So if you want to support any of my movies that I'm in, they're on Tubi and YouTube and Amazon. Just type in Jason Toller. Jason Made Films on all social. My tour dates for my comedy are there as well. If you want to support the T Real stuff, it's T Real at Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. And if you're looking to get into the adult industry and are looking for an agency, my agency's always looking for models. So Ideal Image Models. You can go to our Twitter or Instagram at Ideal Image Models, or just type in idealimagemodels.com, go on the website. There is a Become a Model link there. And I want to thank you for this time frame, bro.
Hey, my absolute pleasure. We will do it again, especially if you bring more bourbon.
Absolutely,
You don't have to bring a bottle.
No, it's all good. I'll do that. This is what I do, and I'll tell you guys. So I know we got into we jumped from tangents to tangents, but I'll tell you more stories about my experience as talent, as an agent, and my celebrity encounters at the Playboy Mansion and at Diddy's house and all these other places I've been to in my adventures as a person in the industry.
Hell yeah. But until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.